my man. You back? Hello? Poetic. You hear me? No, you're on mute. You just want to be up in here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's what me exit. Right beside you.
what you eating? I can't stand that shit.
Sunflower seed.
I don't understand that shit. I got a lot of pet peeves. That's one of them. People who be talking with their mouth full be just irritates the shit out of me. Oh, you can hear me, Empress? I didn't even. Oh, now you can hear me, Empress? I was having the whole conversation by myself. I said, you know what? Let me just kick y'all out my fucking live. Y'all since y'all not responding to what the fuck I was saying. It's looking like we one of those live. You ever see one of those lives where everybody's up there but everybody's sleeping? That's what it seemed like. Like, what? We all fucking sleeping up in here. Listen, maybe if I dropped them, then it would be somebody would think that somebody's awake. All right, so now you finished with I mean, something like sunflower seeds is something like you never finish with, right?
Right.
I know because it's always going to be in your mouth because I'm not I don't know how, I understand, it keeps you mouth moving, so it keeps you up, but I'm not a sunflower seed person. Empress, are you a sunflower seed person?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I can't
Yeah.
do it.
It's a good protein.
Too small.
Actually, I need to go back to them because it is a good protein.
How can it possibly be a good protein? There's so little.
I mean, beans are a good protein too, right?
I guess. I don't know.
Beans aren't big, but they're a
It
good
is. I'm
protein.
talking about sunflower seeds. We're talking about because poetic Oak Steak got sunflower seeds in his mouth. He drives me crazy because he'll sit there and have a whole conversation with you. Blah, 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 blah. He had all this food in his fucking mouth. So fucking annoying.
Mhm.
Well, it replaces tobacco and chew. So I put like like a cup, like a handful in my mouth, and the salt
Ooh,
with
okay.
tobacco.
I'll have to remind that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that information. I have a friend who I really want him to stop using chew. So
I mean, I understand the chew will get you more. It's not good for you, but it's still fucking annoying fucking habit to sit there and keep
Right.
on, just spitting out. It's disgusting. I can't stand. I mean, to me, I think sunflower seeds is the most nastiest habit for somebody to. Oh, what happened to him?
I don't know.
He dropped, I guess, because that damn sunflower seeds was irritating him. Did you hear anything that I was saying earlier?
I heard some, but then I had to handle something else.
I figured both of you guys left me.
I'm
If
sorry.
you, that's okay. I was talking about in the street, right? So in these terms that I was talking about with the fight or flight, did you hear
Mm-hmm.
any of that?
No, I didn't hear that part. Say it.
So there are 4 survival statuses. I only thought there was 2, which was fight or flight, right? You either fighting it or you fleeing from it. But there's
Mm-hmm.
actually 2 more. There is a freeze where the person's unable to move, or a fawn where you please others to avoid the conflict. So you try to like mediate things, and so
Right.
even though you're sacrificing your own boundaries just to smooth things over. And I was telling
Mm-hmm.
Poetic how yesterday I saw how people had either they were in the fight mode. I saw people either in the flight mode. I saw people who froze and didn't say anything, and I had people who were in the fawn mode who were just trying to smooth things over, making everything okay, and to be peaceful. So I already know, Empress, you on that fight mode. Like you ready to go. Even though you do it in a different sort of way than I do it, but I know that you live. Not only say you live for it, but you ready to fight. You good. You're happy with a good tussle.
Um. So actually, I don't actually like to fight.
No, I don't like it either. You're absolutely right. But you're not gonna
I
back down
I,
from it,
I
right?
like a good debate, but I
Hmm.
don't actually like to fight.
I don't like it either. I don't like it. But I mean, okay. So let's forget about the liking stuff. What do we actually more than likely do? Do we? Have you ever run away from this?
Um. On this app, I walk away from like a lot of people. So here's the thing. Like a lot of people, I will just
Not
um
people. I don't understand you could block people, but if you were in like yesterday, the whole conversation, right? In the conversation that we were having, and if we're all in this conversation, according, it didn't start off that way, but in this conversation that we're all having, or would you have just removed yourself from the situation? That would be more of a flight, or would you just stay there and keep on putting your input into it? Or would you be there just sitting there and not say nothing, like a deer in headlights? Or would you be a type of person like, okay, guys, let's just, and smooth it out. So even though you felt like you wasn't taking either side, you were just trying to smooth it out.
um I think that how I respond depends on the specifics of the circumstance. So I can see me. I know I've probably done all of those things in different circumstances. Because because of the kind of household that I was raised in. I do
Mm-hmm.
have a piece of me that is fawn. Okay, I
Right.
do have um I do have a piece of me that is definitely fight because it is like I've been through this shit before, and I'm not gonna let new people do this shit to me.
Right.
Um, um, I think they're for everybody, even though people, there are people who will claim, "Oh no, I'm never gonna freeze up." Everybody's got a circumstance that's gonna cause them to freeze up. They just don't know what it is, right?
Right. 'Cause like, so say, right. So let's say you out in the street and somebody has a weapon, right? I would
Mm-hmm.
think that would make somebody freeze up. I'm not fighting, you know. I ain't fleeing. Maybe I don't know if I even would try to smooth things over. I think I'll probably just freeze, like, oh shit. I'm not supposed to know. I don't know what to do in that situation.
I mean, once again, it all depends. It- I've been in the situations where I thought somebody was a threat to me, um, and I started quietly looking. That person didn't realize I quietly started looking for a weapon of my own.
Right.
Uh,
So
you
then you're
know,
still going into that fight mode then.
right?
Okay.
There are situations where, um, um, so I can think of I'm thinking of one in particular where I probably used a combination of preparing for fight, but using fawn in the meantime, like keeping them calm but
Right.
preparing for fight.
That makes sense too, because I've definitely done
Uh,
that too.
um, let's see.
Would you?
Uh, there are some times where yeah, it should be like where it has been a thing of run. Um, and then I can think of yeah, I can think of all these different circumstances in my life. So I've yeah. So it
I,
all depends on the circumstance.
right. I was talking well, I was also mentioning to Poetic, right? Because about, do you feel like yesterday in that moment, if a man, we did, it was what, six of us, six women and two men. And do you think in the moment, if a man, or no, in fact, Charles was there. So, but I think that a man had came up that they admired or respect, came up and said, you know what, man, I don't think what these ladies are saying that bad. All they want you to do is change the verbiage that you're using or help you understand that the verbiage that you're using is inappropriate. Do you think that the men will be that those two men would have been acceptable to that and be like, you know what? Because it was a man that said it, they would have understood more what we were trying to do?
Oh, men, and they hate to hear us say it, but there are a lot of men who are real submissive to other men.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Real submissive.
All right, you don't have to say it like that. You make it sound so sexual. But I feel like that too, and honestly, that's one of those things that are like upsetting to me. Is that because it's like things don't have to go so far. Like I know that if Charles would have said something or even try to say something, that's just why I was kind of cutting him off a lot because I think that was just more fuel to the fire, right? So they're not going to sit there and they weren't going to pay attention to Charles. Then Charles, shut up. You know what I mean? I knew that would just probably make them even more angrier, right? But I felt like if somebody that they respect or an elder, I want to say, came up there and said something to them, I think that would have cooled down the temperature a lot.
I like
And
what
I,
Empress said, but I would say, can we say definitive to this median? I don't think men are generally submissive to other men, but I think in this median we do see a lot of men seem to embrace other men in the when it comes down to the gender responses.
what do you mean by gender responses?
So in other words, so like, let's say let's say the exchange between you ladies and the gentlemen. If another man probably had to now me interceding would not have helped because I would have fueled it because I would have came in with a negative approach. But let's say another man would have come in with a positive influence of like pretty much the same influence that the young lady came in and gave kind of a history of how that train word evolved from dealing with and from as within the culture of minorities. So had a man came in and used that same approach,
Hmm.
I'm guessing the other man probably would have kind of yielded or say, he
Right,
would have probably said, he would say, I hear you, my brother. But because it was
right.
already coming from women, it was already cadre of women, and all y'all were in the same ballpark. Which one came in later with a much more,
I know. I mean,
uh,
if you could, I give. There was three different examples: training animals, training hoes, and training in slavery. You know what I mean?
right,
And still, all
right,
three of those were not acceptable because they still insisted in using the word train.
right,
But yes, and I,
right,
and I agree. If a man would have came up there and gave their perspectives,
right,
or what we were trying to say, I think the
right.
conversation would have been ended and deaded a long time. Look, like it wouldn't have gone so far.
Right. And again, I would say that again depends on. I said for that gentleman, I don't know because he was already like he pretty much was in his mind 0-5 against you ladies. Like he was, so he was kind of in a mode that I don't know if another gentleman would have made a difference or not because he was already in his moment
Honestly.
of because he was drowning. Remember he almost I thought he almost got came into tears or something. He was about not
It
cry, but he was
didn't
really
even
like
start off that way because he didn't even say anything honestly until he wasn't even talking. It was mostly Diddy that was sitting there running his mouth for 2 hours.
right. Well,
He just came up there because he
Diddy
wanted to
was
tell me to
right.
check my inbox.
Right, and Diddy was fueling things, but I mean, and even with that jump, Diddy knew what he was doing. Diddy was just kind of playing on top of that. I've seen Diddy do that before. So, and I'm not saying Diddy was wrong. Diddy was having fun, but Diddy was just pushing that man's buttons right along with it. Like, nah, man, you didn't say nothing. You know?
No, yeah, no,
But
I see how you think it's funny, but I don't think it was funny at all.
no, it wasn't funny. No,
Because
it really
whether he
wasn't
was
funny.
egging it on
But
or
no,
not,
but
right?
here's
You
what was
still
funny
see
though.
obviously that there were six women that was
It,
obviously upset about the whole situation because there was
it
everybody.
was Diddy being a Confederate. It was Diddy playing as a Confederate.
I mean,
That's
I
what was
understand
that was.
poetic. I'm not trying. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but okay. So we're gonna remove you from it because
Okay.
you're gonna make excuses. But let me Empress. I
Yeah.
mean, for real though, just because you know when he was just egging him on, that makes it fucking right. It doesn't. It doesn't make it right.
No, Adrian. I never said it made it right. I was saying that
Okay.
I was
Mm-mm.
no. What I was saying is that I don't think another person could have helped turn that program any way from what it was
I think it would have.
because you had somebody fueling it or you had somebody putting fuel on top of them. That's what I
How
was
is
saying.
it fuel? If we already all agreed that when another man comes in, the men on this app are more acceptable to hear what another man is saying, right? If we all in agreement with that, what is the problem for a man to come up and say, "Hey, listen, dudes, I think you're reading this all wrong. It's the word that these ladies are upset with," and
Because he
explain.
already knew that you were upset with the word. He even harped on that you were upset with the word. He already that was not the issue for him. The issue for was him was that he was not going to lose to 5 women. That was in his mind. In his mind, he was basically in combat with 5 women. It wasn't about the words at that point. It was about where he stood, and there was no in his
It
mind
really
because
was because
remember
his
what did he
understanding
say?
was.
Hold on. No, what did he say? His famous words were what? You're not gonna talk to me like that as a woman. I'm a man.
Right.
You
So
ain't
if
talk.
a man
Okay.
came in and explained to why the women were talking to them that way,
He wasn't gonna yield to that. He wasn't. He was
he was
already
so
in
he
mode.
wasn't going to yield to you if you came
He
up
was.
there and say, "Yo, man, you're wrong."
No, because he was already in his moment because he had already said something to a couple of even men in the comments about them being something something.
Men in the
He
comments is different than somebody actually talking to
no,
them and
but
hearing a
even
man's
but
voice.
was
But I
he
get
was
it.
yeah,
Whatever. I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not. Nope.
I,
I'm not.
and,
What
and,
you
and,
telling
okay,
me?
okay, I mean, we just again say this. I hear what you're saying. This maybe you're right. I'm just speculating. I don't believe he would have, but you have a better inclination on these people than I do because I don't get that involved with them. But I don't think he was in the yeah because I think see you gotta remember he was seeking all kind of remember he even yielded to what happened. What was he yielded to? All you ladies needed was his thing in your mouth or in your body, and you're gonna be
I know
okay.
we still. I understand what you were saying, but I think if another man was up there, he wouldn't say nasty shit like that.
Yes he was already in
You don't
prime.
know because
He's
you
primed.
never tried.
He was
That's
primed. No, he
why.
was primed.
You know how I know that it's
Hey,
fucking bullshit poetic? Because I
he,
know there has been men on this app that you don't know that we will all have a conversation. The man will come up and have an improper fucking whatever they were fucking saying was saying wrong. I've seen you come up and curse out a man before and like, all right, Buster, you know what? The ladies are having a nice conversation here and you screwing it up for everybody trying to listen. So I know that you have stepped up into a conversation that had nothing to fucking do with you to check a fucking
yes.
man. Okay.
But this particular
It's
guy
that
came in
picking
with his
and
shirt
choosing
off.
shit.
This guy was already had his shirt off. This guy
It
was
doesn't
not
matter if they had a shirt
okay.
off or not. You fuck okay.
Yeah, again, I don't know. We just speculating, but I don't think he
I
was
don't
willing to
speculate. I know
yield.
what I
Yes.
see.
Okay. Oh, and I'm saying that, and I'm going to yield to you and say, hey, you have a better
This is
take on him
good.
than
Good
I do.
morning.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so I yield. I mean, you have a better perspective on him than I do, and I don't have an issue with it. I'm glad we'll try it next time and see how that works.
Look,
What are you
We should bring
saying?
him back.
the reality is, this is part of the reason why some of the men don't like me on this app, because I will be quick. These days, I'm quick to tell some of them, and they really don't like it when I say it, but I will tell them, oh, you need to be on a t-shirt.
Oh, that's not nice to say.
Huh?
Okay, but for what? But who? The person that's doing the yelling and the carrying on. The people or the person that doesn't say anything.
The ones like that guy who thought that he should train people, that he thought that he was going to get loud and make
I just think it's the
slide
ignorance.
threats.
It's the ignorance of it all, right? And I
It's
think
not just the ignorance, it's the actual violence that is exacted in real life.
I understand that, but I'm saying it's because of the lack of knowledge. Because I do
You
think that if a man came in there, okay, so like I said, some people believe that men, some of these men act like that because they didn't have a proper role model growing up. They didn't have a man in their life to show them how to behave properly, right? They think that I don't know.
I refuse. No, I'm gonna stop you right here. I refuse to accept that.
I
And
I
here's why
refuse to. But
here's
just
why I
saying.
refuse. Here's why I refuse to accept that bullshit excuse. Because we all know boys and men who go to sleep every night listening to ESPN, wake up listening to ESPN, right? They they will be on this app in rooms where all they do is talk sports, right? They talk the stats. They, um, every Sunday night,
Good morning, Chuck.
Monday night. Now that we're getting into the fall, every Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night, if I want to find them, I know where to find them in their town because they're gonna be at that sports bar watching the game, right? Or they'll be at home watching the game because they don't miss Monday night football or football on Sundays or whatever. They're not missing NFL games, right? Because football is their thing. Like let's say, for example, if football is their real sport, right? They know all the stats. They can tell you the most um, minute stat that you're like, why the fuck do you even know that shit, right? um, they can tell you the tiniest shit, right? They spent, and this is when they're men. When they're kids, they're spending all that time on the court or on the field trying to become a better player, right? And they've never met a fucking professional athlete in their goddamn life. They just wanted to be one. And so they took all the time and did everything they could in hopes of being one. What it is that these men that we're talking about, they don't give a fuck about being decent men. And so I refuse to give them that excuse because I realize they don't give a fuck about being decent men.
Okay, so let's stop right there. Do you believe that if a decent man came up and told them that they were being indecent, they would stop?
Some of them are going to stop in that moment because, like I said, some men are real submissive to other men, and a lot of men really are seeking out the approval of other men, right?
Right. So you
They
think
don't
that it
like
would have
it.
helped? It would have helped.
Yeah, it helps a lot of times when you know what would actually help a lot is
When
if the this quote unquote good men would start isolating
they
the,
wouldn't stop for
the
you, Charles, because they don't respect you. So that's the reason why I kept on
no,
stopping you.
because no, they only stop for a second because there are not enough men who will step up. What would make a difference is if they knew that they were going to be socially isolated.
Right.
That
Right.
is a problem for them.
Right.
But because there aren't enough of the men who call themselves good men, right? Because a lot of the men who call themselves good men aren't really good men, right? But um if enough of the men who call themselves good men would actually get up off their asses and start isolating them instead of saying, "Oh, well, you know how he is, da 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 da," but I still go to the bar with him. I still,
Right.
game with him. I still da 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 da. I still go hunting with him. You keep him in your social circle, and you know he's a fucking monster. And that's
Mm.
why he doesn't feel the need to change because he's by you keeping him around, he's getting that social approval. He doesn't
Okay.
have a reason to
I,
change.
you're right. Do you think we do? Do women do that to other women? If I see a certain behavior in a woman that's inappropriate, right? Like say, she's constantly every time I bring she's in a panel, she's constantly being drama. There's always drama going on. There's always she's always inserting herself or she's always arguing or inappropriate. Do we isolate a woman the same way? That we
Women
or should we
women will
expect
isolate
us
women much
to isolate the
faster.
woman?
Women will isolate women much faster, and they won't even necessarily do it for good reasons. But yeah, they'll isolate women much faster.
But I don't think we yield to other women as much as men be yielding to other men, right? Like
No,
to me, honestly, if another woman try to check me, I'm gonna get even more excited and riled up and like rah rah rah. And I don't give a fuck who it is. You can be my fucking mother, but if you try to check me in public, it's a fucking issue. I shouldn't say that. That was so horrible to say. But you know what I mean? It's like I feel like I'm more of like if somebody try. So I don't think women yield to each other as much as men do.
no, I don't think. I mean, I think it depends on the person. Yeah, I don't think women yield as much.
Right.
Um, I don't think women yield, but um,
Good
but part of
morning,
the
Mom.
problem is that the bad men don't feel that there are enough uh men who are going to lock them out. So they're like, fuck it, you know,
And do you think that's the reason why they're able to get away with it so much?
they shift into their real housewives bitch energy.
Isn't that
Who's
like
gonna check me,
enabling?
boo?
Isn't that wouldn't that can be like considered like enabling them?
It does
They're
enable them.
enabling the bad behavior by not saying anything about the bad behavior.
It does enable them. It does.
And absolutely, I don't know, and it always brings me back. And then again, this is on the app, right? But I also brought this example. So I was at a not. I mean, I was telling Bernie this earlier, right? But he already told me that he wouldn't do shit. So that's the reason why. But I already know that already about him. But I was at a red light, right? I was at a red light, and I'm hearing squealing like really high, right? I go ahead and look, and there is a woman there that in one arm she had a baby, a toddler. The baby couldn't walk, right? Like a baby, and on the other hand, she had this man's balls in. Like she was squeezing the shit out of his balls, and he was squealing like a fucking 2-year-old Tyler. Like, I know he was in fucking pain. And I stayed at that red light, even though it turned green. And I wanted to make sure that this shit was done with. I wanted to see if he turned around. Because in my mind, all I kept on thinking is about him swinging on this woman and that baby falling and baby getting hurt. Right? So, I was giving that example with poetic. I said, you in an area where you see a whole bunch of women who are doing the stroll, right? What would you do if you see a John sitting there dragging a lady by her ponytail across the field? Would you do anything? He said no. And I understand how we could be we thinking of we could. It's dangerous out there, right? You don't know what the other person is. I don't think like that. Like, I don't think about what my consequences are for getting involved in somebody else's domestic violence, whatever going on, or robbery or arguments. We see videos about the shit on the app all the fucking time about how people will sit there and just record the shit. I guess be in that flight froze mode. You know, you just freezing and you just sitting recording the shit instead of actually either doing something, walking away, or trying to make the peace. And so what would you what in an outside situation, whether the John situation that I gave with poetic, or even the situation with the lady, with the baby in the hand, would you, or where would you be? Are you a fight person? Are you a flight person? Are you a freeze person? Are you a fawn person?
A lot of times I'm the person that I step in to cover somebody else. If I think there's somebody who needs protection, I'm probably going to step in some way, shape, or form. Now, stepping in doesn't always have to mean that you're getting involved physically,
Right.
but I'm more likely to step in protection of somebody else.
Okay. I get that, because again, you don't know that the man could have had a pew pew on, or a knife or whatever. You coming in next, you the one, and I think that's what a lot of people think, right? They're not going to get involved because they're not going to they don't want to be the ones that get hurt in the situation for not minding your own business. Because that's what poetic's like. I'm just minding my own damn business. So I can understand how the world is crazy nowadays, where people don't step in the way that they used to step in before. Right. So, but I mean, even to the point of like, listen, I'll take the baby from you, so you can handle your business. Let me just take the baby from you. But then there'll be times again that people will be and try to get themselves involved. And then the woman will go ahead and turn on the man and be like, yo, mind your business. And next year, but then that'll be the point like, okay, well, oh, glad you're good. And just walk away. Right.
Right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Charles.
That's an interesting scenario or question that you asked. I used to work security in casinos, armed security in casinos, and we had 9 different buildings with hotel rooms. And the amount of domestics that we dealt with daily were things that we had to deal with on a regular basis, and they do get very dangerous. We had one person who blocked the door, got his wife in the hotel room, locked the door and lit the mattress on fire in the hotel room and started firing through the door.
Oh my God.
And we had to find a way, but on top of calling PD to come in to help us, we had to find a way to get in through the window to get him down, to get her out safe with the fire going in the room and stuff like that. So domestics can be very dangerous.
In that instance, that was your job anyway, right? Those Charles. I mean, you get paid to do that shit.
Even for cops, domestics are one of the most dangerous situations for them to walk into.
I believe that.
Yes, it was my job, but having that said, right, being that situation, if I was to see what you were just asked about, the John thing, dragging that woman by the hair, it's an innate action mode in me to automatically act because something has to be done, right?
I believe that you would do that, Charles. I don't think you're a mind your business type of person.
I can't. There's 2 situations I cannot mind my own business. When it comes to women getting physically hurt and children, I can't do it. I cannot walk away from it. And that's also why I can't watch certain TV shows, That Law and Order SVU. I can't watch that show because it is specifically has to deal with both of those cases. I have a visceral, angry reaction when I see that happen. So I know it, and it's hard for me to keep that in check as well. Even with my job, I had to do that.
No, and I don't really understand because I mean, like I said, and it's kind of on yesterday's live, right? Because I can't, I don't know how to just end it, in my live.
Well, that's also, yeah.
Can I finish? Sorry, Charles. But in my live, and it's just like all day long. Talk about I couldn't fall asleep because in my mind, I'm still fighting. I'm still fighting in my mind because I'm pissed. I'm fucking mad. I'm angry, and okay. So I finally, whatever. I could calm myself down. Go to sleep way too late, and but I did my quiet time this morning, and part of my quiet time is about, again, always has to do with the thinking, and our thinking is what gets us in trouble. We need to stop thinking, and I'm like, well, how the hell you stop fucking thinking? But in that was about fight or flight, right? That we have to find out what we are fighting and flight. So I googled what fight and flight is and the different definitions, but there was also two other survival ways. One's freezing, where you just don't do anything, you just stuck in the situation.
Headlights.
Yeah, but there was also something called a fawn, which a fawn is the person that will sit there and try to smooth things over, even though they don't believe in what the person is saying or agrees with what they're doing. They will just sit there and still try to smooth things over. And so in the discussion that we were having yesterday, I saw how everybody played. Either they were the fight, the flight, the fawn, or the freeze.
Very true. I can see that. Yep.
Right. So then again, that's when I came on about, so we were talking about yesterday, and I do apologize because I know, Charles, you would sit there and you would fight, right? Because I know if you saw how these women were constantly getting disrespected over something that was so stupid, right?
Yep.
Of a definition of a word. A definition of a fucking word that they did not understand what that definition was. They could have an opinion, but the thing is, we were talking about, and again, we gave different versions of what that word means, right? In animals and livestock, which is what you were talking about, in a pimp and hoe game, and even in historically, right? And no matter what, they just did not want to understand that you go ahead and use a different word to express your point. But we were trying. So I felt like, and I know that you were trying to, but I don't think it coming from you, it would have been received as well as it would have been received by another man that they may have had more admiration for.
Well, the difference in that situation yesterday, when I started dealing with the first gentleman who was already being disrespectful, the second gentleman came in on that situation. And the reason why both of them, it wouldn't have been received by me, and I understand it, is because I don't look like them.
Right. Or never really experienced.
And that really does make it, that makes a difference, right?
Right.
Because I had been in that situation before. Right. Where I can address them and be very dominant in my addressing, right?
You would have been received with aggression back.
But on the app, okay, the reason why a lot of times you'll see in real life, men will, like you said earlier, will submit to other men, right? Is because there's what's called an inherent threat of violence, right? And that inherent threat of violence is right there in your face. You have to deal with that threat, right? So most men will kowtow to another man if that threat of violence is real. Does that make sense? But on the app, and that is not that inherent threat of violence is not there. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of men that I have seen will continue to do that kind of stuff and treat people like they treat people. Now, I know for a fact that the other reason is, since we're just talking, they're never going to accept anything that I was trying to say. No. Even though I tried to in the first place, but I can see that when there's a situation where you pick your battles, right? So, yeah, but that's why I messaged you on the back end and asked you if you.
Oh no, I saw, and I also saw the mama. You even I was reading the comments later on, and I also even told Mama Money like, can you drop him?
Asked her,
Like, can you
please,
just drop
to
him?
protect her live because I really didn't want them to get your live taken.
Right.
That was ultimately what my goal was, is to get them from being
And again, I
disrespecting
still
you
had the
guys.
responsibility to do that if I wanted to, but I'm always in fight mode. So,
Well, and they were being
Well, you
completely disrespectful. But not only were they being disrespectful, but they were also going to get your live taken, and that was my main concern was
I don't give a fuck about
protect
a
the women
live.
from the shit
But
that
I
was
understand
going
what you're
on,
saying. But
and
honestly, I
your
really don't
live.
give a fuck about a
You know,
live. I got 2 other pages that I could fucking deal with. And
I
again,
know you do, but
yeah,
again, and
but remember, you got to start changing your mentality about some of this stuff, because 2 weeks from now, just a mere 2 weeks from now, when policies change again, you know, every time they suspend you or whatever,
then it was
all
just
your gifts and stuff that you have, you risk not getting them back.
okay. That's fine. Again, this is just
You risk, yeah. So yeah. Let me step in because
Take him on
it
and
is
on.
Because
different. It's much different. You used to be able to get 10 strikes before they take your page. It's only 2 strikes now. So that's why you got to be cautious when you get those warnings. Go ahead and drop their ass. I don't care what you're talking about, what you're doing. Just drop because you don't
right.
want to lose the
I'm
page.
not thinking about none of
Well,
that.
listen to me. Listen.
I'm
If you lose
listening.
the page completely
Uh-huh.
and you're not able to get it back, and I can't get it back, then you won't be able to go live. They will also suspend your other pages based on your main pages now.
And then I just don't do it
That's
anymore.
how they know that you're on. They know it's you because of the IP and where you're logging in from. You're logging in from the same IP, so they know it's you now. That's why I had an issue with the 2 accounts, but they can tell now. So even if you got other accounts, they're gonna suspend them all. Then you won't be able to go live at all. So
and
that's why I'm trying to stress it that it's more important now
I'm better
than it
off
was
that way. Then
before.
honestly, obviously, maybe I'm better off because I won't take this. I won't take the work home with me because exactly this is what happened. I took the fucking work home with me, and now I'm over here in my motherfucking feelings.
Well, part of the
Well, don't be in your feelings.
but give me 1 second. So
part of the
we
problem
understand
is,
that,
honestly,
but
is
here's the
that
thing: is
you like playing with ain't shit people a little too much, and I've said this before.
All right. Anyway, that wasn't what we were talking about. We were talking about the
No,
fight.
because
We were talking about the
here,
fight or
no,
flight,
here's
and we were talking
here's
about
let's
no,
scratch an
this
here's
is
encounter.
what I
Encounter.
should do,
nope,
and
Let me
nope.
let's
this
rap.
You
is
Let's
what
nope.
rap.
I
You
should have
got
done.
you got to hear this piece of the conversation too, because you
Because at
can't
the end of
say,
the day, I
well,
was talking about how we should be reacting, how our reaction is. I already I take full responsibility of what the
But
fuck I should have done. Like
no, but
instead of me fighting, now yes, you're absolutely right. I should have dropped him. I got you. I heard you.
ladies, let me ask you this: do you think that at any
no,
point in time
but
that the man may have thought y'all might have been his like a mother, y'all were like a mother figure?
No, because you shouldn't talk to your mothers that way.
they were being
No,
openly that second
but
man that came in
no,
yesterday
he
no,
was
was.
no,
being an
no,
asshole.
no. I'm saying his responses. Though. I mean, like do you feel like he was not dealing with a woman in his age, but you were like mothers to him. Most of you guys like could be a mother to him.
No, because no, fuck
No,
that.
he
No,
was
But you
being
don't talk to your mother that
disrespectful.
way. You shouldn't. If you do, then
Poetic.
what the
He
fuck
was
is wrong with you?
when that second guy went sideways. He went sideways with the B
No,
word and everything else and all kinds of stuff. And that's why I asked. Now they're all battling. The 2 of them are going up again. Now the one, and this is the thing. The one guy was bolstered. I was dealing with him just fine. I squared him up straight on, which is fine. But the second the other guy came in, and he acted the same way, now they bolstered each other.
Right.
And they were
But
they
the second
started
guy showed
acting
off to
that
me.
way
The second
together.
guy made a comment, and he said that his mother would tell him to put this thing in their mouth. And so that's why I was like,
Yeah.
how he associated his mother with that instruction. That's why I was like, so he felt. That's why I felt that he was kind of seeing these ladies as being. I love
and
to say
this
his
is the
mother.
reason
So,
why I felt like a man that they admire or respected should have came up and said something to them, and I think they would have received them differently, and the conversation would have been over with, and we could have
He's
moved the
right.
fuck on.
Like it would have been.
Hey,
It
my
would have
Care
been
Bear.
different.
So men like that, if they're willing to say things like that about their mom or direct things like that to their mom, they have mommy issues, meaning their mom didn't raise them. They must have had issues with their mom while they were raising them because they take it out on women. They see all women the same because that's the first woman you love, first woman you meet, first woman you ever have a relationship with. And if it's a bad
Unconditional love.
relationship, then
Right.
it sticks in your mind to be bad relationships with women the rest of your life unconsciously.
I'm on the
They're
path.
doing it unconsciously. They don't even know they're doing it, but they are. And I can tell most of the time the ones that have terrible moms or terrible relationships with their mom, they mistreat women really bad. And I'm just being honest.
No, I mean, I've
So
never,
that's what I've seen.
and I've seen it too, because I was telling Empress earlier, it was that I have never been proven wrong, because every time a man, when I start talking to them and have a conversation, it always goes back down to their mother. It always will always say, "Well, I didn't have a good relationship with my mother," and I'm like, "Oh, I could tell." Or my mother didn't raise me. Like, oh, I could tell. It's never been like, well, oh, I had a great relationship with my mom, and I act like this anyway. Like I never heard that before.
Yeah,
I wanted to
that
chime in
was
on your fight or flight topic. When go ahead, Charles, when you get
No, go
done.
ahead,
I was
please.
just gonna say, tell Poetic, it would have, and what to Adrian's point, it would have been different had you, Poetic, with being who you are and what you look like, had come in and was speaking with them directly. That might have been heard a little bit differently than what I would say,
I think it would.
because I have, that is a point though.
I think so too. But
Anyway, go ahead, Mommy Money. I apologize.
money.
So, Charles, I definitely didn't waste my time yesterday to even get in the box. I don't talk to people that don't listen. I already knew those two weren't going to listen.
Right.
So I don't waste my time. Adrian played with them a little bit and give them a little leeway and grace. And they sometimes take it overboard. And that's the way it is. But I just don't, when I see they don't listen, for me, I'll shut down and just won't say nothing and go on mute and just let you look stupid and be stupid because I ain't got time for it. But the fight or flight that you were going through, that's a difficult situation. If we now in 2025, I would never ask anybody, even if I'm in a domestic violence situation, if you see me in it, don't step in. But what I want you to do is to at least record or call the police or do something in that manner. The reason I say don't step in is because now if you step in, you could get a charge. If you step in, you could get unalived. I don't want that on my conscience either. That somebody was trying to save me and lost their life or lost their livelihood because they had to go to jail. Their family messed up. I don't want that on my conscience. And I personally, I would step in only if I got my Glock. Because 9 times out of 10, if it's a man beating a woman, he would never tackle a man or a pew pew. So I'll pull that out because he gonna sit down and I'm gonna call the police and let the police handle it from there. I'm not gonna jump in trying to break it up or hit him or beat him up because I can't do it. I'm a woman. I know I can't beat a man. I don't care how small they are. And I ain't finna try. But I will with a weapon. I will step in to stop it because I'm not gonna allow him to just beat a woman down. That's crazy work. So I will do that and I will cock it to let him know that I'm finna let loose if you don't let her go. And I'm gonna record it all at the same time for my protection. So when the police get there, I don't get locked up and gone to jail. But that's it. If you do it, just be cautious and think about it when you do it. Make sure you record everything. If you can't record, hand your phone to somebody else and tell them to record. Whatever the case may be. But in today's world, recording is key. You want to record because somebody gonna lie, somebody ain't gonna tell the whole truth, and it may fall back on you. And with that recording, can't nobody lie.
I mean, yeah, and I completely understand. I see. I have to get to my point that I think of these things, but when like I said, I'm more of a fight. As you know, I'm more of a fight person, so I don't think about the consequences or the reactions of other people. I'm just doing it. I'm just I see a problem, I'm gonna solve it. I'm here to, and then next year I'm in jail somewhere and be like, oh, why the fuck that I just didn't mind my own fucking business. Meanwhile, both of them are at me. You know what I mean? And I'm over here losing my livelihood or my life possibly for something that had nothing to fucking do with me. So it is a very iffy situation. I think it's safer to do it while we're on the app because you know that nothing really could physically happen to us on this fucking app by getting involved, except for losing our, again, what happened with me, where now I lost my fucking peace because of it. But so I definitely but I think in person I'm definitely more of I'm more of a fight person than just walking away. Like if you have and I want to even be so even to the point of adults, right? So even have you ever seen like a little baby and that be acting up in the store because they want a piece of candy or something, and their mama won't give them a fucking piece of candy. And I would just sit there, good morning, Nicolette. I'll be the first one, like, hey, why you acting like that? I mean, it just at a reaction, just doing it. I just don't think about it. And sometimes, and nowadays, parents don't be talking to my kid. Why you even talking to my kid? I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just trying to distract the child so they can stop it. You know what I mean? Because usually the kid is going to be more scared of the stranger. And 9 out of 10 times, the kid is just going to stop what they're doing because they're like, who's this stranger talking to me? And then it gets moved on, and then we move on from it. So in a child situation, do you guys say anything when you see a little kid acting up in the grocery store?
It depends on the situation.
Most of the time I do. Cause little kids, I'll be like, well, why are you doing that? Don't do that to your mama.
Yeah,
Do
that's
that
what I was like,
to your
don't do
mama. And I
that.
make sure, but I make sure the mama watching me and see me say it. If the mama ain't watching, then I'll be like, why are you doing that? Where your mama at? Where your mama at? I keep saying that loud as hell. And then when I see the mama, I'm gonna say something to the mama. But I won't. I will say something to the children because they don't take
They
it
don't
like
fit
grown-ups
really
do.
there,
They
right?
take it like they're at school and like you're a teacher or something. So
Right,
they
right,
really normally don't take it like grown-ups do. But I've even stepped in where I've seen some of them teenagers go at them people at the store because they
right.
did something to them, and I'll get them to stop arguing with the store clerk. So I mean, I've done that before because I can. It's only if I can tell their demeanor or kind of see how they gonna respond. Now, if they gonna respond and cuss me out and be this and that, I'm gonna say, okay, then handle your business, and I'm gonna walk right out the damn store because I ain't finna fight with them. Cause them young ones would tag your ass in a minute. They'll turn around and just hit you. So you have to be careful with them and what you say to them.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if I would do it as much as teenagers that I would do with like little babies. And again, I guess it's because it's a threat that that, like I said, those teenagers. Sometimes some of these teenagers are big and are just as aggressive, and they really don't have no fear of anything. So,
No, they
that's
don't. But I try to make them realize that you may be putting your life in danger the rest of your life. It might not be good right now, but don't mess it up to where you can't do nothing in the future. You got to get old like me. That's what I be telling you. You got to get old like me.
right.
So I want you to get old. I don't
Good
want you to
morning,
go through
DC.
this, and this person right here ain't even worth it. If they can't understand that part, I walk and move on off. Cause I don't. I think sometimes they do it because nobody says anything. And then if you say something, you never know whether it'll actually register or not. It could register from a complete stranger before somebody that knows.
I
So
agree.
I will say that when it comes to children, I'm very. It depends on the situation, right? So if the mother is right next to the child and the child is having a fit or whatever, and you can see that the mother is visibly frustrated, and they're trying to deal with this, but the situation is just not working, I will step in then in that situation. Um, if the child's by themselves, I will never step in that situation. If they're throwing a fit in a store and they're just by themselves, I'll get a store clerk or something like that so that they can get in the middle of that. So that's the situation because of liability for me. Now, something like the child lost, that's different, right? So you can take them to a store clerk and things like that. Now, when it comes to the teenagers, I tend to step in a lot more when it comes to teenagers when it versus the other way around because that again that inherent threat of violence is still there, right? Even though I would never hit a child, it naturally is still there because I am a pretty big guy. Now that doesn't mean that they can't do what they want to do, and I might end up with 3 or 4 of them trying to take me down. Well, that might happen, but most of the time in a store or situation like that, I've never had a situation where that actually tries to happen. I usually just address it quickly and say, hey, how you're acting, that ain't right. That person's working and they're trying to do what they need to do, what they need to do for you. Be respectful. Be decent. You're human beings, so are they. Be decent. Usually that's all I have to do. I've never had a situation where they've actually turned on me, physically.
Right.
But again, it doesn't mean it can't happen, right? But I do tend to say something a lot more, especially when it comes to teenagers.
Okay.
But it just depends on the situation, though.
And good morning, Nicolette. Is that Tanya? She your name?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I think.
Yes, it's me. Don't you see
I
my
know it's a picture.
picture?
Girl, my eyes can't see that little ass picture.
Girl, they be stealing pictures and making pages. I had to check and
No,
see if it
it
was you too
is
when I saw you
me.
in the comment.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I
his
bet I
Go
got
check.
about
me.
15
I
pages
was sitting there
and
trying
10
to
on
click on
ain't
the picture
mine.
so I could see if it was Tanya. Even that wasn't even working. I'm like, why is this not working when I'm trying to click on the picture? So I was trying to make
Nah,
it easy
There's
for
no checking
people.
involved. I'm not involved. There's no money involved. I can't be involved.
You know.
I ain't say nobody's kids. I ain't helping nobody's kids or parents or nothing. They just not do it.
well, I would hope that you wouldn't when you don't even do it for your own kids.
Thank you, love. I appreciate you. See, thank you for that. Thanks for my flowers.
You're
You always
welcome.
bring
You're welcome.
flowers. I appreciate you. Thank you,
You're
love.
welcome.
A lot of times, though, I will, like I said earlier when I said I would step in if the mom was right there in the situation, because a lot of times your single moms are stressed, right? And they're dealing with so many things going on already in life. And now this is just another thing that's adding on top of that stress, right? And if I can step in for just a second to calm that child down for that moment, sometimes that's enough of a relief.
That's how I see it. I mean, that,
So
honestly,
wait, what are we talking about exactly? I'm sorry. Are we talking about bad kids?
we talking
Yeah.
about a
So
lot.
if kids are acting up in the store, would
Oh,
you
we were talking
Oh.
about minding
address
your
them that
own
way?
business during conflict.
Well, you know what really trips me out is that I think it's the because we came from the beat your A generation, okay, and a
That's
lot
true.
of parents don't do that now. They act like they're afraid because the kids got the power to call and report you. I'm not scared of CP. Baby, listen, I raised my children the way my mother raised me, and I do not spare no rod, okay? Because if you spare the rod, you will spoil the child, and the child will disrespect you eventually. I'm not that type of parent. I'm old school. And if my child acts up in the presence of another adult, I don't mind somebody else checking my child and correcting my child. My kids know I don't play. And wherever they act a fool, I'm going to act a fool with them.
I get you. I'm not saying I'm the same way too. But I've seen where even the teachers, right? You see the kids act up in school. Like I used to tell my children, I don't care what the teacher says. You come to me first, and I'll handle the teacher.
That's right.
That's right.
You're not
I
gonna
That
be
is
did that
true.
disrespectful
with my daughter the other
she gonna
day.
let you go to the
Yeah, I don't teach
bathroom,
my
piss
kids to
on yourself.
disrespect
I don't give a
adults.
fuck what it is.
Right.
I'm the adult and let the adult handle another adult.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Child,
but
they is slapping them teachers and whooping their asses and
yeah, you know
everything.
what I'm saying. You
They
hear
And
are.
that
then
all the time because parents don't
another
want
thing,
nobody to talk to their kids. You can't. You don't talk to my kids like that. Don't discipline my kids. Don't do that to my kids. And of course, the standards of the teachers now they're under the guidelines. Remember, not martial law. What is it when the kids when they used to get smacked in the hand with a fucking ruler. Now they can't do that. You
they
can't even.
can't do that. They can't even touch the kids. So
Yeah,
when they get to fighting, if they get to fighting in there, they can't touch them there neither. If it's not
right.
the security guard there or another child, they can't touch them. And I didn't know that until my oldest was in high school. Now this been since my oldest was in high school that they cannot touch them kids at all. If they touch them, they
Ooh,
automatically get a charge. My friends are teachers. They be so scared to touch them kids or say anything to them. They just call the principal or send them to the office because they don't want to be bothered with the headache of having to get a charge as a teacher or the parents blowing up on them. One
Our
parent went to
teachers
school
touch
and beat
here.
the teacher up because the teacher wrote the student up.
Oh, well, they not like that here, honey. Our
still Tanya. Oh
yeah. Look,
wow.
we got some schools that actually have a when you sign your kid up for school, it asks you for permission to
Listen, I see.
keep.
That's what I'm talking about. Because even when my youngest was acting up because he was a spoiled fucking brat, and he would act up in school, and I was in that school every fucking day. Every day I was in there, and I was like getting his ass. I was just saying because I'm not there during the school. So when he gets home, he don't give a shit. He was over there coloring in the principal's office every time I picked him up, and they're like, "Oh, we can't do that." I said, "I will sign whatever you want me to sign."
Right. Right.
And you getting it because you spoil him, so he knows what he's going to get away with. Their kids are very smart. And
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
got
I don't
paddled
know
one
what she
time at
did.
school.
He did that from pre-K all the way up to third grade, and there was an old Southern teacher there. I don't know what the hell she did, but she straightened his ass out, and I didn't give a shit. The next year he came back in fourth grade, and he was a perfect little angel. And everybody, all the teachers, like, well, what happened to him? What happened to him? They thought to the point they thought I put him on medication, and I was just like, no, I said that it was, and I'm going, I don't know what happened, but I knew it was that teacher. I don't know what she
Right.
did, and I don't care what she did, but whatever it did, it fucking worked.
I got paddled one time and I never had to get paddled again. Never, because see, at that time, I think I was in the third grade, and I remember the dang on woman. Her name was Miss Squatty, and she squatted my ass. Okay, she
So
squatted
I
me.
got a question. I got a question for y'all. Did y'all get paddled in the hand or on the butt?
No, I got patted on the butt. She hit me twice with like
Okay.
a ruler type thing, and I went to the office and I was crying, and they called my mom, and my mom got on the phone and was like, "You know, you get in trouble when you get home, right?" And anytime my mother said that, trust me, she owned that word and she kept her promise. It was never a threat. And I think that nowadays we'll say we're gonna whoop our kids' tail, but don't do it. And so they
Right.
don't take you seriously.
Hmm.
But my mother, anytime she said she was gonna get us, oh, she got us. And when I got home after getting squatted at school, I got a whooping when I got home.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I went to school, y'all,
You got that too
when
on
I
your way
went to
home.
school, they stopped paddling on the butt. You couldn't paddle the kids on the butt. You could only paddle them in their hand. I thought it was different, but I wasn't sure. Because everybody before me was saying it like they got paddled on the butt. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because my teacher just paddled you in your hand.
So I
So I
went
guess
to
they were moving it. They were moving it out of school when I got in school, and I was born in '79. So when I got in
Good
school,
morning, Gracie.
that's when they brought the paddling out. It was like first and second grade, I think. And however, the teacher wouldn't paddle them on the butt; she would paddle them on the hand.
In the
And my
hand.
mama and them used to think when I said people got paddled, they got paddled on the butt. That's how I knew it was a difference. And I'm
Right.
like, well, all they do is paddle you in your hand, so that ain't nothing. And she was like, no, no, it hurt your butt. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about because it don't hurt your butt.
You one of those
so
kids, huh?
I went to a Catholic private school from pre-K all the way up to fifth grade, and I moved to public school in sixth grade. And the Catholic private school, you got paddled on the butt and the hand.
Right.
Hand that ruler was a nasty ruler when it came to one of those Catholic nuns. They were nasty with it, but they had that ruler that had with wood and then the metal on the edge. The little metal edge.
Oh,
That
yeah. Mm-hmm.
that one. That's what they used on your hand or your butt. So
I know that my mother would tell me this all the time that my brothers were born left-handed, and they will paddle, they will smack, hit them on the hand with the ruler if they use their left hand because after all, you wasn't supposed to write with your left
yep,
hand, you're supposed to write with your right hand, and you would get hit for just walking, writing with the wrong hand.
yep. I
But
was
they
I
couldn't
was
help that
left
they
as
were
well, and I used
left-handed.
to get the same thing.
Right, but it was a bad thing to be left that. That was, I guess, I don't know, proper to be. Now, I'm a left-handed person because by the time I went to school, they wasn't doing that shit no more. But my mother would always say, "Well, that what my brothers could do both hands." But that was a thing. They would get hit just but again, by just being writing with the wrong hand.
Yeah, you have to become
You're right.
ambidextrous.
My mama told me about that, and it was a lot of them that tried to write with their left hand got paddled on their knuckles. That's what they
Mm-hmm.
used to do, paddle them on their
That
knuckles and
hurts.
make their knuckles hurt and make them write with the other hand.
Yep.
Right, absolutely right. And good morning, Crystal. You here? Good morning.
They wa- they would
Thank you
walk
for
right
coming
up
up.
to
I know
you.
you wanted to say
So
something.
where my school, where they would walk right up to you, and if you were writing with your left hand, which I naturally did, they would hit my hand on the knuckles right there while I was writing. They
Right,
would
while
just
you were writing.
right
Mm-hmm.
down there, and then so yeah, oh
So
yeah,
Nicholas, you were here. I know that we were saying a whole. We definitely got far off of what I was talking about. But when you came up in here, what were you? What did you catch on to?
Basically,
Hey guys.
the first topic you were talking about,
What you eating? I caught you in the
girl,
middle.
I'm
I'm
eating
hungry.
a shrimp po' boy
Okay, that sounds good.
that was grilled and not fried. But
That sounds good.
I feel like when it comes to children misbehaving in public,
Hmm.
um, I feel like the village
Right.
because not all children listen to their parents. Let's be real. They be running over these parents like they ain't nothing,
That's true.
and it's okay because the parents never got the control of them. It was supposed to. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like those are
So,
the parents that will get upset with you for disciplining their children?
no, because I used to discipline. I don't discipline children, but
I
I
want
just look at them.
and not even just I said the wrong word, but just saying something like if I said something, the child acting up because like you had mentioned because of obviously they do it at home too, right? And you say
Correct.
something like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And next thing you know, the parent is looking at you like, "Don't talk to my kid like that."
I've never had that happen to me. I just have them staring. I
Okay.
just stare at them. Like that's
Yeah, I
about
usually
it.
give a look. I don't say really ain't say anything. I always usually give a little kid a look like, like what you doing?
Right.
A lot of times, those parents are bullying their children anyway, and
What
that's
I
part
Alexa,
of the
stop.
reason why they don't care.
what I can't stand is the parents that find it righteous to call them children bitches and motherfuckers. I can't
Oh
stand that.
yeah,
I that makes my skin crawl.
yeah.
Cause at 3 years old, two
Well,
years old, this is all they know.
I call my kids
Abuse.
assholes. So
but
I,
you
Yeah.
know what? Them ain't the ones that get in trouble and will try everything. It's the other ones, Adrian, talking about where the parents let them do anything, don't discipline them at all. I agree with you, Adrian. I think that's where it come from. If they don't discipline them and they feel like, because most of the times kids are scared of strangers,
right,
so they're not gonna do that in front of a stranger. What they'll do at home. So that
exactly,
means if they're doing it in front of a stranger, they definitely doing it at home
right.
because they're doing it around the people they comfortable with and people they uncomfortable with.
I can tell they ain't get
So
that talk when they come out the car. Before they come out the car, don't you ask for nothing. Don't you look at nothing.
I mean, I used to be like that with my kids.
Yeah, but I
What?
think a whole
You ain't
bunch of
getting nothing, so
people.
don't even ask.
Right.
I think a whole bunch of people they confuse discipline with corporal
Action
punishment.
or punishment? Oh, you said corporal punishment?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
like I
think
was disciplined that I didn't get my ass beat.
right. I think a lot of people confuse those two
No, for real.
things. And so when you have people, a lot of times when I hear people running around talking about, oh, it's this gentle parenting, what they're talking about is, oh, they need to beat those kids. When what the problem is a lot of times is those kids are not receiving any kind of discipline. There is no order in their lives, right? Um, that's the problem, not the fact that they're not getting beaten. But a lot of people just want to run in and be like, oh, you got to beat them. And beat them in the long run only does harm.
I understand what you're saying, and I think all children are different because I know that what the discipline that I gave to my oldest was definitely different than the discipline I had to give to my youngest. It wasn't a
Did
one
you get the
size
same
fits
No,
all.
results?
What
the
what
science
worked
is
for one
showing us
definitely didn't work for the
the,
other.
the
I
science is
agree.
showing us that beating kids, spanking kids,
I understand what you're saying. I
changes the way the
understand.
brain develops.
I get it. I understand what you're saying, but I only could speak from my own experiences. Come on,
It depends because I mean sometimes gentle parenting don't work. I mean gentle parenting works on gentle kids.
right.
My kid ain't gentle.
Right, exactly.
She,
With my old, if
she
I
got
took
grown
the TV
siblings,
from my old,
so
if I
she
took
acts
the,
calm.
but so if I took the TV away from my oldest, you would think that the
Mhm.
whole world was falling. But if I took the TV from my youngest, he didn't give a shit. He like, God, take the TV. I like being by myself in my own world anyway. You know what I mean? So it was definitely
Right, but then you
different
just got to
character
think
between
of
the two.
what are the things that would be a punishment to that child. That's it. You got to figure out what's the
Right,
punishment for that child.
right, absolutely. Like I said, so
that's right, Empress. I can agree. I got three, and all
Right.
three of them
So
different, and I discipline all three different.
definitely
But
right,
what I try to do with every one of them is teach them. I
right,
don't just holler at and whoop they behind or
right.
hit them. And I think that's what Empress is saying when she say beat. That's
Mm-hmm.
just somebody, you're not trying to teach the child what they did wrong or
Yeah,
what's right.
constructively and taking
You
it out
just
on them.
And
popping them because you think it's wrong and you think they should know. And that's wrong.
some
That's
parents
beating
actually are
children.
whooping them out of anger, out of their own anger
About
issues
Yeah,
anger.
they
against the
whoop them
child.
out. Yep, whoop them out of their
Yeah,
anger.
because
But
I
my
had a
thing
spanking
is,
spoon. I had a spanking
child, my
spoon for
kids
my
get so
oldest.
many chances. I sit down and talk to them. I ask them, do they understand? I
Mm-hmm.
be like, don't do it again. They do it 10 times and I still do the same thing. Talk to them again. You understand? Then I start yelling at them at
This
the
is the
next
reason
time.
why.
And then it builds up to me having to pop them. I
Right.
normally try to start popping you on your hand. And then if I got to pop you on your butt a couple times, I might. But I ain't never beat. no children.
Right,
Now it
exactly.
all depends on how far they'll go. If they keep going and keep going after I done gave you chance after chance, and I can see that you know what you're doing, because let me tell you about my 7-year-old that can't talk. She'll come in this kitchen, she'll make coffee and know she wrong.
She make
Soon
coffee.
as I get up out the bed, she holler ass running to the room. You know you wrong.
Right.
You gonna get popped.
Exactly. No
Cause
much.
you know you did wrong. It ain't no question about it. I bring her right back in the kitchen. What she did. I point to it. I tell her, and you know you're not supposed to do that, right? She shake her head yes, and I pop her ass on the hand and send her on her way. But it's you gotta still teach them regardless. I teach them every time before I pop them. If I don't pop them and I'm just teaching, whatever the case may be, I still keep saying it in their mind because the more I say it, it keeps playing in their mind. And if it don't register the first 25 times, maybe it'll register the
That's a
next
long time.
72
25 times
times.
is a long fucking time.
Girl, these kids, and they ain't like us. They don't just take it. You have to show them sometimes, so it might be 100 times.
I'm so glad
I
I'm not doing
always
that
say
shit no
it this
more.
way: when it comes, there's a big line. There's a very big line between child
Good
abuse
morning, guys.
and
Good morning, Chris. I mean,
Good
let
morning,
Krista say
Crystal.
something, Charles.
How's it
so
Go
going?
ahead. I know you
Hey,
came in
my
here
Care
too. I
Bear.
mean, again, we are far away from what we were fucking talking about. But go ahead,
Can you guys hear
Crystal.
me?
My shit was all fight or flight. But go ahead, Crystal.
yeah.
What did you
I'll
jump
wait. Go ahead.
into? When you came up in here, what you come
Yeah,
into?
I just wanted to say the kids went to shit. I came in when you were talking about well, I was in and out, but kids went to shit back in the late '90s. I remember when I left elementary school and went to junior high and high school, and then came back to the elementary school, and the kids are fighting, and the parents are being hit. Not parents, the adults are being hit by the kid, and I'm
Right.
like, whoa, like. I would never, back when I was in school, like, an adult
Mm-mm.
break up a fight, you don't hit the adult. Like, you see that an adult or whoever's in, like, I knew then that there was a problem. Like,
Right.
okay, these kids are off the chain. And then, I agree. Like, I came up in a household where, I ain't gonna say it was soft parenting by any means, but I ain't get my ass beat. Like, I can remember the 2 times I got disciplined physically, and I understood why, and I never did those things again in my life. Like, it only took one time for me to get a spanking from my dad because I opened the door when he told me not to. And that was it. And that was the first and last time. And yeah, so I was like 6 years old. It'll show you how smart I was. So,
Right.
and we're in New York, Adrian. So the
Yeah.
doorbell rings. Now my dad is home,
Oh, that's a
and
big
and
deal. Oh
both my parents are
yeah.
home.
He
Right.
opened the
And
door and
so
let
the
him.
doorbell rings, and I've realized it's my dad's supervisor. Now, I'm smart enough to know that my dad worked in the field. He didn't work in an office because he inspected boilers. So I knew that his home office was not in Queens. I knew that in my head. And so in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. If my dad's supervisor is here, this must be important, and my dad is asleep. Oh man, I should open the door because this is my dad's supervisor. Child, why I do that? Why I open that door? My dad was taking a nap. First of all, again, I know that my dad's company was not in the same city. Thinking it's important. Clearly, you was looking for my daddy. I didn't open the damn door. My father done whooped my head, and I learned not to ever open doors again. You know. And then and parenting with structure and things of that nature. I guess I learned how to be responsible because I had an allowance, and I ain't get no pro rates or nothing. Like, if I didn't do something and I missed out, I ain't get no money, and I'd be sitting at home looking dumb while the rest of my friends is out having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a different way. Instead of or getting, I've seen my friend. I saw one. Oh my god, my friend got beat with a broomstick in the park because she left the milk out on the counter, and her mom was a daycare worker, and she beat her with the broomstick outside in the park in front of everybody.
Now that's abuse. Her mother had anger
Yeah,
issues.
yeah.
Right.
Her
Child,
mom's
That's
throwing
you
up.
know
West
what,
End bring
Crystal?
up because that's how we were raised. If you didn't get hit with a broom, a belt, a shoe, there's a hanger, There's so
a
many
stitching
things.
cord, a switch,
Ain't no
What?
way. I
Fly
listen,
swatter,
y'all.
fly
I
swatter.
respect my parents.
a hanger.
Y'all know I respect my mother to the utmost. When my friend got beat with that stick in that park, and me and my mother, because like I said, everybody was outside, and me and my mother was after the incident happened. I remember me and my mother walking away, and my mother said to me, "That's gonna be you if you could." I said, "Mom, you will never."
I would never tell my mama she would
Like
never.
Mom, you would never, Mom, you would never, cause why are you even saying that? And this is how you raised me.
She
You
was
raised me to
making you an
think.
example. She said, "That's the example. If you
She
ever."
was trying to make me an example. Ma, you will never.
But you
Cause that's
the
disrespect.
words.
You beating me with a broomstick. You beat me with a broomstick outside because I left the milk out on the counter when you know you got 5, 6 kids in the daycare. Y'all getting wicked, you getting that
Hey
shit for free.
boss.
Stop playing me, Mom.
Hey
I
boss.
actually, I'm the auntie that corrects the kids. So my sisters will bring their kids over to me.
Me too.
So
I'm definitely the auntie, correct. I'm the auntie.
I'm gonna text you the
I'm the
info.
secondary parent for every adult who has a child that I know. Like I'm on the school
You
list.
did a good job and keep
Crystal,
it
can I put
moving.
you on the school list for my kid? All right. Cause they know I'm an advocate and I'm gonna stand up for them
I'm
kids.
gonna send it to you.
But you ain't gonna do me. You ain't gonna beat me with a stick.
right. Well,
Crystal, you
like I
talked
said,
about allowance. And you know what my mama
I
did?
ain't never had no
I think she owed me
allowance.
some more money. She owed me some more money because shit, it started out, I was supposed to get $5 a week. Then it went to $10 a week.
You got
I didn't
allowance
get the damn.
money,
Hold on. Let me finish. I ain't
money?
even get my $5. Cause she always how about she ain't had no money. And then she told myself, well, you gotta do the chores anyway. You know you're supposed to do this. You know you're supposed to do that. And I ain't never get paid. She owe me. She owe
And she
me.
do. Oh yeah,
That's
she do owe you, but she should have said
Oh
anything.
she owe me. She owe me.
So was the money
But
the
She
most that
got
basically,
free
what you
labor.
were
she
supposed to
didn't
do
keep the
Free
anyway?
lights
labor.
on. She didn't keep the lights on. She didn't keep you fed.
I don't want that wasn't
Oh,
my allowance. That
that's
wasn't
what my
my
mother would
allowance. I
tell
want
me.
my $5 a week, child. I'm going back to collect mine.
I
look,
didn't even
Mine,
get
yeah,
my
that's how I
kids.
Well,
was.
that
I
is
was
not
gonna
mandatory that you get an allowance.
no,
I didn't get an
an
allowance, and I didn't get
allowance
my kids
isn't
an allowance.
mandatory. An
No,
allowance
it's
isn't
not.
mandatory.
say
But here's the thing: a lot of
You
parents
want money?
don't
Go
think
get a job.
about the repercussions of what they're doing and the lessons they're actually teaching. Right? They don't. And so, like, the lesson that a lot of kids are going to take from that is don't trust anybody, right? Don't trust them, don't
Yep,
trust
and I
them,
got
don't
trust
trust them,
issues.
right? Um,
Because you got
no,
lied
I'm
on. I
serious.
understand.
No, I'm so serious. A
Me
lot of
neither.
they're not going to they're
Who am I
not going to
supposed
She
to?
trust.
ain't lying. I do
Um,
have trust issues with my friends and my men. Everybody.
Is that are you?
and
Is that because of the allowance thing?
wait, hold on. Um,
That's probably where it started.
Wow,
what we don't talk, we love to talk about, how do so many women end up in abusive relationships. We don't talk about how often those women thought that they were going into a better situation. They were jumping out of the pot into the frying pan because they were coming from a household it's the that was hell. quietly abusive, and nobody wants to talk about those households that are quietly abusive,
maybe because
right?
some of us don't know about those households, Empress.
No,
How can we talk about something we don't know about?
because no,
Exactly.
no, it's not that we don't know about it. I'm telling you, we can sit on this app and a conversation like this will come up, and the number of people who will stay 10 toes down on, no, you got to beat those kids, we going to beat them, you got to beat them, don't matter,
Let me use a
eh,
different word because I think that's the same thing with the word yesterday with training, right?
look
I
here.
think we use the
Yeah,
word
because
beat, but we
whoopings are
don't really
not
mean the
beatings.
word.
Beating is completely different.
Right,
Beating is
right.
discipline.
that's
Yeah,
completely different than than spanking a you may kid. want to wait, hold on, let me just say this, and I know, and I keep saying it makes people feel a certain way, but we need to have these
Because of the
conversations.
word.
Wait, hold on, we need to have these
It doesn't mean all
conversations
the same
because
thing.
no, so hold on, we need to have these conversations because especially
Yeah.
as people of color, we need to understand that this is something we were indoctrinated into, right?
And
And
that's when
so
you use the word beat,
would you
that's what
oh
we
my
hear.
god,
Adrian, let her
Jesus
finish, dog.
fucking
I'm trying to
Christ.
understand what she's saying.
Go ahead. All right, y'all gonna treat me like Bella now? No, I'm playing.
It's
Go
something
ahead.
that we were indoctrinated into. It's not something that was a typical part of our societies before white people. It is something that was pushed on us by slavery and so on, right? And at one point it was very much a part of hopefully trying to keep your child alive. Okay, but now there's so much more that we know, so much more that we know. And when I tell you, it has an impact on how the brain develops. And people are like, oh, well, no, no, it has an impact on the way, in fact, not only does it have an impact on the way your child's brain develops, your child's brain takes it as more of what we think of as a bigger trauma, like SA. Okay. That's what it does. And while we might want to say, oh, well, let's not use the term beating. Guess what? Go start looking it up, and they're gonna rank. They're gonna say it does damage whether you're calling it spanking, whether you're calling it beating, whether you're calling it whooping. It does damage. It does damage. And that is part of the reason why you're starting to see in our generation more and more people who are like, fuck it, I'm not dealing with my parents anymore. I'm one of them. My mother has limited contact with me because some of the bullshit she pulled with me as a child and continues to do as a grown up. Some of, I hate to say it, but some folks are going to find themselves very much alone because they thought that just because they gave birth to people or were parents to people, that it entitled them to access to these people for the rest of their lives, and that's not true. I'm
So,
I'm
in,
telling you, it does damage that we
Okay,
we
can
need to talk
let
about.
me know when you're done.
It does damage that,
When you
and it
beat,
doesn't matter whether you call it spanking, whether you call it beating, whether
I
you call it
understand.
whooping.
I get it. I get it. But let me ask you something. Were you beat when you were a child?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
My parents are both from Jamaica.
Right.
They immigrated separately from Jamaica and met here in the US.
Okay, so I
So
understand.
yes.
I
Um
understand.
and my mother is a boomer, my father is silent generation.
Okay. I get it. Let me get
I
it.
just have to say this.
I was here for fucking frying pans, broomstick. I was here with everything. But I get it. Some people receive it differently. I get
Exactly.
it.
Not all
So I
parents.
mean, it's always with this one size fits all shit that be fucking bothering
Right.
me. But again, because whatever.
I always say this. Not all parents are meant to be parents.
And I think so
And
too.
I think she had an example of a parent that really just had her
And it
because they
affected her in that
and
way.
affected her because mentally she wasn't ready to have you, and so it showed.
I don't
It
really know.
showed all over.
It might have been just from how she was raised, right? How
Wait,
her mother was raised.
Right.
so when I say
So
it does damage, I need you to know that when I'm talking about the damage, I'm talking about what we can show from science at this
I
point.
understand science.
I understand, Crystal, and a lot of people have continue to have kids that shouldn't be having children in the first place. And a lot of these adults, you as they grow up and they get older, you realize, damn, your mother you should have not been here at all. Like you should have not really been here with your mother because if that's how you feel,
I
you
would think of
shouldn't have
most
had, you
people.
shouldn't have got breath in your body. You should have just been unalive from the time you came through because the mental and the type of torment you're going through, it wasn't worth it.
So going
So
back to what
Empress,
go ahead, Mama Money. Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying. Just to kind of give an example of how it came to us through history, like of course, the slave times, and when they use that as a source or a way to control and a
Mm.
way to make you think certain things and do certain things. And then slowly we've moved out of that sector after, the abolishment and everything else. But now, and I think in 2025, I think we're growing with it because there are a lot less parents, I think, that have children that actually do the full-fledged word that you don't want us to say. Um and
Such an
I
aggressive word.
I Yeah, I know it's aggressive, and I think that a lot of us have changed over the years because we were done that way. And I'm just gonna be honest. When I was a child, I was saying I ain't gonna never do my kids like this. I'll never do my kids like this.
Mhm.
So I didn't.
Right.
So I didn't.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I think it is growing, and we have to. I don't blame my parents because I don't even know if they knew any better or what the case may be.
Mhm.
All I can say is I'm here today, and
Amen.
what they didn't do, I'm gonna try to do for mine. I'm
Amen.
gonna try to be better. I'm gonna try to do what wasn't done for me because I don't want mine to feel the way maybe I feel or other children feel. I mean, we all gonna have different feelings and different growth experiences, but I just want to try to do the best I can for the ones I got. My oldest Empress, I have limited contact with that one. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it was all because of the way I raised them. It was because of some other things that I probably don't even know about, and I probably would never know about because I think it was confided in other people and not me as mom. So
Mhm.
what I messed up at.
What happened? Did she
What
get a
happened?
violation? Because I wonder if she got a violation. No, I would have gotten it, right?
Yeah, you would have gotten a notification. I will say this real quick. I believe that there's a big difference between abuse and discipline. And the reason I say that is my mother was that way very specifically. It didn't matter what she had in her hand and whatever it was, that's
Thank
what she
you guys
used.
for liking
And
the
it was
worship.
always out of anger. It was never out of education, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I got education from it, but it was never out of education. So one thing that I chose to do, and I said I will not ever be like my parents, is when I discipline my children, I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with them because because actions, your actions do have consequences, right? So they do have to have consequences, but that does not mean that they cannot be sit down and we can't have a conversation about it. um, I always made sure before I ever did physical discipline, I always took a step back and I always made sure I was calm before I ever did it, because I feel it's this way. If you're doing it out of anger, you're doing it for yourself. If you're
Right.
doing it with to educate, you're going to
Frustration.
calm yourself down and make sure you're doing it with the proper thought process. And there's a very big difference. If you just go off the handle in anger, that's the way I look at it. So, but I've had to spank my kids very little, but most of the time conversations have dealt with it. But
No,
I,
I mean, conversation is good for all of us, whether we're children or adults. Communication, right?
TikTok kicked me
yeah,
out,
That's what I was
communication.
gonna. I
basically.
figured that, but I was like, would I have gotten you didn't get a
It's been
violation
I was
or
like,
glitching.
wait a
nothing, right?
minute.
No, the app has been
Yeah, I
glitching a
was
lot.
done. I was done,
Hmm.
but I was gonna say that Empress, where I messed up at was I didn't leave the door open for communication for him to come talk to me, to feel
Yeah, go back to the
comfortable
communication
coming
word
to
again.
talk to me. Yeah,
Right.
because I didn't have that from my parents. It was always shut up, you don't speak unless you're spoken to, and don't interrupt, and don't get in grown folk conversation. So
Right.
I kind of did some of that, and that's where I messed up.
Right.
I always
So what
Thank
do
you to
you do
everybody
when
for
a
sharing.
child is bad? Because I have a nephew that hit on my sister, and I had a nephew and do not get me wrong, I know that he was a product of his environment because his father was very abusive, and
Mm.
so he learned that behavior. But
Right.
touching on his mother was never an option, especially not in front of me.
Mm.
You just don't do that, and sometimes when a kid is that bad, you do have to rough him up. When I got into his tail, he never hit his mom again.
Right. I don't. Let me go back to the but what I can't even talk. And only I don't know. My phone is not charged. I'm only at 9% as well. Um, I was talking about survival states, right? So, and I was getting into a Crystal. I don't know if you heard, but yesterday was definitely an interesting conversation that we were having. Cool ended up getting in there, and Cool actually got threatened yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an interesting conversation, and in that, because again, it had to do with this word, right? The word was what was the word now? I don't even remember the fucking word. The word was trained, right? About we need to be trained to be wives, right? And so
Yeah.
we were trying to give an education to these young men about, I don't even, they're not even young, but these men about the word train, right? Because to me it was like, you could say what you want to say, but the word train was just fucking driving me crazy, because so I was trying to give different examples. Charles was giving about how animals get trained, like a wild horse, and I went to the level of pimp a hose, right? So pimp a hose, thing about and I'm gonna say, well, how you train a hoe, right, type of thing. And then of course Cool came up with her of historically what that word train means, right? So we got into this whole conversation. Everybody was arguing, beefing, all types of bitches and all this other type of shit. And in that, so of course I hung up the live, and that was in my head the whole entire day. I was just kept on, I couldn't even stop thinking about it, because I was just so angry and frustrated, because of course my survival state is fight. I'm a fight mode. I'm gonna beef, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna shut, I'm not because then I came to the mode, because now I'm over there calling them all types of bitches, how their mama's a bitch, their kid's a bitch, and I'm over here being coming out of what I normally, well, not that I normally do, but that's what it is, what I normally do. Because even Cool was like, Adrian, I ain't never seen you like this before. And so my normal is that fight mode, right? So I Googled, so my quiet time this morning, I Googled, the survival states, right? So there's fight mode, where we're confrontational, right? We're going to fight our way into it. There's flight mode, where we run away from and we leave that stressful situation, which is what I need to start learning how to do, right? There's a freeze mode, so I already knew the flight and flight or fight, but I never knew there was two other kinds, which was freeze, when you're unable to move, and there's a fawn, where you please others to avoid the conflict. So you're being you sacrifice your own personal boundaries, just so you could just calm the situation. So you find like the middleman, and you try, even though the person might be wrong, you're still trying to like negotiate the situation, just to calm down the situation. So that's actually what the conversation was about. We went so far to the left to the right of this conversation, but like how we always do, which is part of having a conversation with each other. So so in that conversation yesterday, I could see how all of us played a part in either fighting, flighting, freezing, or being a fawn. And so my question of the day is, what do you believe that you are? Are you a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Anybody could go if you want to.
I'm a fight mode. I already know. I already answered that earlier. I'm in fight mode.
I'm a fighter.
You're a fight. So
Yeah.
because I think with man, I don't know, maybe it's your tone, but I feel like you're more like you like to try to keep the peace.
Me?
Yeah, you Tanya.
I love to keep the peace. I do, but when it comes to, okay, my nickname is Tonka. All right. And my mother has 5 girls.
Oh,
so
a lot of
we used to, we used to get into it a lot, because of the fact that people used to always, actually, she used to take us to Sweet Home, which is where they tough. And my cousins lived there, and she took us to Sweet Home so that we could get tougher, because she said we was too soft. And so, and I used to hang with my cousins. Like I used to hang with I was a tomboy. My mom and my sisters always say, Tony should have been a boy, because I do everything. However, my loyalty is strong. Like I fight for my family. So whenever anything goes on, I'm the person that they call on. I'm the person that my friends call on. I'm a fighter. I'm truly that person. Like I'm gonna stand up for everybody, especially when I love them, or even if I don't know them. I'm there for everybody. That's me. I'm a fighter. Listen, it's just certain situations I fight for. I believe in fighting for what's right.
I love that. No, like I said, but it's not always a good thing, right?
It's not always a good thing, because not everybody's gonna fight for you. It's not always a good thing. No,
Child,
like
at my
when I worked
age,
in
it
a
ain't
company
good
and
to
I
do
worked
that.
for corporate office, and I was really fighting for the people that worked underneath me, and they didn't understand that, but they couldn't stand me, not because of the job. It was because of the job. I was in an office. I was one of the 2 black women that was at the top, and they couldn't stand it. The jealousy was outrageous. It took other people to tell them, y'all don't even understand the change this girl has given us, but y'all don't like her because of her position. And they're like, no, she thinks she all that. No, you think I'm all that. I'm supposed to think I'm all that. I've been living with myself for 49 years, honey. And if I don't love me, who the hell is?
Right.
But yeah, it was.
So
Go ahead.
at my age, I used to be like Tanya. I put my jogging suit on, Vaseline on my face, skull cap, and I'm coming. But I can't do that now because I'm too old and I don't want to break nothing. I don't want to be hurt in the morning or have to sit in no exercise when I get home.
Right.
So I will because I normally stay strapped now. I tell everybody I don't fight no more. I retired. So
Right.
I got me a piece to fight for me. So
Right.
I guess it would be considered fight because I'm going to get out and I'm going to stop it. Okay? Because ain't no man that'll put their hand on a woman going to step to this pew I got in my hand, cocked, ready, and loaded. So I know I will stop it. And then I'm going to call the folks to handle the rest. But I ain't going to jump in and try to break it up or box with you or nothing. But I got your back, sis. Don't worry about it. It's
I
gonna
don't know
stop.
why, but I'm when I say I'm a tomboy, y'all gotta understand I'm a tomboy. But my mom had 5 girls and we had nothing but boys until I had my daughter. And the boys got into a big fight during Christmas. And I don't know why my ass jumped in this fight. Like I jumped on top of a recliner that was a rocking recliner. I see because it was my brother-in-law in the middle of my nephews, and all I see is my brother-in-law. And I'm thinking he fighting my nephews, and those are the boys that I raised. So you know how you get as in mommy mode, you defend yours.
Right.
And them boys handled that. They had that situation. My older sister was screaming for my mama, like, Mama, they fighting. My mama was 79 years old. What's she gonna do?
Wow.
And so I'm like, oh my God. And they were like, Tanya, instantly. And I don't know why. I promise y'all, I have no idea why. I just went into protect mode. Like, you're not gonna be hitting on my nephews. And them some big boys. They know how to hold their own. But I just went into the fighting. I just instantly started fighting. And my nephew, not my nephew, my brother-in-law, he started screaming, Tanya, stop hitting me. I'm trying to break up the fight. I was like, oh, sorry. I thought she was fighting my nephews.
You're so silly, Crystal. So let me ask you something. But on this app, right? You like even when in the situation yesterday. Because are you more in the fight mode?
I'm more in. No, I always try to stop every situation when it's in the when it comes to the arguing. I hate arguing. I hate that combative nature trying to argue with people. That's draining. It's like, y'all stop, just please stop. I'm always like that. Even with the family, when they got into it, I was just like, yeah, they boys, just be quiet. I never knew it was gonna get to blows. When we went into the kitchen to fix plates and cook, all we hear was rumbling.
It goes back to the word again, the word fight. So you mean like physical fight, not an argument.
I hate to argue.
Okay.
I can't stand if somebody and nor am I gonna start anything. When I say arguing, no, I'm not. I hate to argue. I can't stand to argue. When it comes to protecting my family, I'm definitely gonna protect my family every time. Right. Any other time, I'm real calm. I'm laid back. Don't mess with my mama. Don't mess with my kids.
Okay, so it was the word that I was using, but you see how words are so freaking important, right? Because fight does actually mean physical altercation, right? Versus an argument, which is just words. And of course, when we're on this app, is words. Nobody can physically.
It's nothing but words. That's why, and we don't know these people. We don't know these people, so nothing that anybody ever says should ever bother us to the point of where we're even like yesterday. I thought, like I told you, it was the threatening. It was like because there have been people to meet up, and there have been people that have gotten on the live over stupid stuff, and for me, it's just pointless. It's pointless.
So it starts off as an argument, but then it goes ahead and moves on to an actual physical thing.
It does, and it's not that serious. For what? We don't even know each other like that.
Well, some of y'all
one thing about it, you can't move on to a physical thing if I don't let it. So that's why I just go on mute. Because after that, you can't fight by yourself, argue, or tussle.
Yeah, because survival mode is
Adrian.
A thing.
I'm sorry, what poetic?
Bernie.
I was saying some of you said that was interesting, but really, the PIMP they don't really train a woman or they don't train their employees. What happens is the employees train them, and then what really happens is, PIMPs will also, let's say if their employee cannot, let's say if there's a backup or the employee cannot engage, right, they will take over and they will offer to suck the man off. Real pimps.
Wait, what?
Because they're not gonna lose
No,
that money.
please,
Oh
let's
yeah,
not let's
real
not do
pimps
that.
engage.
No,
Yes,
And
I'm trying
so,
to tell you,
with
that's
that
very
being
true.
said, that is
let's
an
not do
example
that.
of survival
Real
mode.
PIMPs do engage. I'm trying to tell you,
No, okay,
they
well,
don't
I
lose.
think the thing is about
Okay.
training would be like if I don't,
They're not letting that money
if
get
you
away.
got my money, bitch, are you gonna get? Well, as a guy had said, he was gonna yoke somebody up if they don't
Right.
comply or don't
And they're
follow
not
the
letting that money get away. Don't give PIMPs high morals and values. These
Says
guys
I
are the
mean,
scum
you
of the
ain't
earth.
never been smacked by one, so be quiet. You have no and then shit. Shit.
Uncle Bernie, I ain't
And
applying
so,
for them jobs. I
and
ain't applying for them jobs.
Oh God.
and so with those people, those who go ahead and give the head, those are the fawns in those situations
Oh,
of survival mode.
right.
In survival mode, these instances are not. You could experience all of them at the same time. It's not like you automatically choose to. It all depends on the situation. You might have been raised in survival mode. You have people who are, you might never get out of survival mode, although you may not be living in survival mode anymore. You may actually be in a place where you can pay your bills. You have food in your refrigerator. You have a vehicle to get to work, and yet you still try to hustle to get money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because you're still living in survival mode to some point. Like, even like Tanya saying that she, a fighter and what have not, because there is a threat of some sort. Like she said, I won't get into something until I feel like there's a threat.
Right.
And so that's the fall into the survival. And then the flight avoiding, you're not going to run to a fire. You're going to run away from a fire. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unless maybe somebody is in that fire. And so then your survival mode kicks to where you're going to go fight because you believe that you can get that person out. And so that's where the fight kicks in. You see what I'm saying? So your survival mode changes depending on situation.
So on the app
And
though,
who
I
and
would
who
say
and
what I
if
was
you
telling you
actually
earlier,
thinking about it.
I think it's a survival mode is different
Because
on the app, right? Because there's no physical threat. Even though people on this app like to say, "Oh, you're attacking me. You're attacking."
well, the physical threat is the self-harm.
So I'm sorry. Say it again.
Physical threat could be the actual self-harm, even because they cannot get to you. Or we've seen people who have met up with people and beat them in the flip-flops on the
Right.
floor.
I know. Which is what
Right.
to Tanya's point as
You know what
well.
I'm saying?
Sometimes that verbal turns into a physical.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. That's why I was just like, it's not, yesterday was a bit much. And for me, when the threatening and all of that, show your brother or all of that stuff it was way too much for me. I was like, hold on, y'all, let's
It
stop,
definitely went
because
too
it's not that serious. It's just not that serious for me. And there are some people that really are, eh, the mental
Right.
state of somebody is not like us. Like Adrian, I've seen you get into it with people, and you can just move forward and get on another live and be all right. And not everybody has the ability to do that. Some people carry that thing on to the point to where they feel like they need to meet on site and do whatever they need to do
Right.
physically. And it's not that serious for me. It's just not, it never is that serious for me. And like I always tell people, I've never started a fight ever in my life. Never.
And that's why we have mods sometimes, because those people are
Right.
supposed to be the people to identify, hey, we need to you need to chill
I
out.
mean,
We
he
need to
tried to
that
yesterday, but
I
I don't let
know.
I don't let nobody do that
And
shit
I
to
don't
me.
think that people
No,
understand
I
the
get it.
severity of how
Right.
easy it is to find you on this
Okay,
app.
so
I don't care what your name is. People can take a picture, you Google you, and find your real name and address and pull up on you, right? I saw one where the girl was talking all that mess, and this lady literally found her and took a flight to where she was.
Yeah.
That's the type of people that you're dealing with when you're on social media. And that's why I'm just like, hold on, y'all. No, we're not going to do the threads. We're not going to do none of that. We just let it be what it is. Let it be what it
Right.
is.
let me
All the
ask you
real
something.
crazy people got access to money.
Very crazy.
Right. And
Well, good morning,
as much
Sassy.
as you may not like me trying to shut it down sometimes
Oh, no,
you
please don't
don't,
shut it down. Don't touch my live.
huh?
I understand what you're saying. Don't touch my live.
No, I know, I
But
don't
she's
touch it.
trying to protect
I
you,
don't
though.
touch it, but it's in protective.
I don't
But
care.
it's in,
I
wait,
don't
hold on.
care.
I know you don't care, but you know what? Here's
In the
how I
fact that I
view
don't care.
here's how I listen to what I'm saying. Here's how I view a piece of conversations like this, right? You are to me, like for those of us who have watched crime shows, you know how there's a certain percentage of, shall we say, firebugs, pyromaniacs who like to work for like the fire department. You are a little bit of that firebug firefighter who then wants to complain about the danger that you face going into fires,
I don't think
or
I heard you guys. Okay,
how
I got
you
you.
got
So,
some
okay, so,
smoke inhalation when you went into this fire. It's a fire that you set sometimes, and then you want to talk about, oh, I got this smoke inhalation
that's what I
and I
did.
was coughing all afternoon long after I got out of the fire.
Because some people live in survival mode.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so Crystal.
Yes.
Grown ass fucking
Yeah.
adult at the end of the fucking day. Okay.
So wait, y'all, wait. I got one thing. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, y'all think these people on TikTok diabolical? Baby, I went to Facebook and
No.
went to looking at the reels and Instagram, and child, this girl done threatened the other lady. She done threatened on Instagram live the lady and her brothers. When it found the girl,
Yeah.
they got her drug her ass in a car, put her in the middle, and had a pew pew to her head, and made her apologize online live with the pew pew to her
Oh my
head.
goodness, that's
And
crazy.
It
they let
don't
the video
matter.
play, got hundreds of thousands of damn views.
And
It
it's
don't
just
matter if it's
social media,
TikTok,
and that's the thing.
Instagram.
And
Yeah,
people
it's
take
social
social media
media.
so seriously; they really do. And I've seen a lot of videos. It was a guy that did the same thing. The girl would go on live she went on live to talk about him because he was cheating, and he said, "You want to be famous? You want to be famous?" He came over to her house with his pew pew and told her to go live just so he
Oh
could
my God,
unalive,
that's what Edwin be saying.
just so he could go unalive.
Child.
So
You know what, Mommy
it gets
Money?
very serious. So you have to, when
Okay,
it
so
comes
let me
to
ask you
the,
something. Okay, so and I see how you guys are having very serious um concerns, right? About this type of situation. To have self accountability on that, right? Shouldn't you just like flight mode and stop avoiding these situations? Instead of trying to control the environment around you, why don't you? How come people just don't remove themselves from the situation? If I am in a room where I feel like it's going left or it's going right, or people are threatening, or that I feel like somebody's going to show up at my doorstep, or even different social media platforms, why don't I take the responsibility? You know what? I'm just not going to fuck with social media.
Oh, I'm
I use
absolutely
social
leaving the
media for my
room.
protection, but you gonna fight, Adrian. You gonna go back and forth with them.
But I'm not sitting and complain about it. Like I said, I'm going to sit there. I'm not going to complain about it either.
So
In
Adrian,
wait a minute.
you
Yes,
don't know who will show up and who won't. So you can't never say.
but I know.
Just
Well, again, I deal with a lot of people who do know women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this is. Listen.
so let me
But
tell you something about a real criminal. A real
right, I
criminal
know
ain't
a
finna
lot
get
of
on
them.
this
That's the
mother
reason. Maybe
on
that's
this
the reason
app
it doesn't phase
and
me
they
that much
not
because I know real criminals,
what.
and they
Yeah,
don't
me
have
too. And they're not finna get on this app and tell you nothing they finna do. They're finna go behind the scenes where you
I
don't
know
know
criminals like
when they
that.
gonna show up. They're gonna pop up. It's gonna be a surprise, and you ain't gonna like it. So somebody really want to get you. I'm not finna announce it to you or give you no damn invitation. Like, I ain't even finna tell you when I'm gonna
We
show up. I'm just
agree
finna
that we
pop up
all with those
because I
Right.
really want to get you.
interactions.
Right.
There's a particular DJ on this app, the
Okay.
particular DJ who currently is facing federal charges
Okay.
because somebody threatened him and he pulled
Fine.
up at their house.
Is it easier to control other people than it is to control yourself?
Not at all.
No.
Okay. So
Not
if somebody feels threatened or things that could be said, and then somebody's gonna pop up in your house, how can you say have self accountability in that?
huh?
It's too late. If we've gotten to that point, it's too late for self accountability if somebody done showed up at my door.
Right.
If I'm in a social setting online, and we'll just talk about social media being online, because at the end of the day, it's like you in a club, you at a bar, and you might be in a surrounding where somebody might be getting into an argument where you at with your friend. Are you telling me to leave you?
No, I'm saying if I'm
Because I mean,
afraid,
if that,
if
because
I'm
I feel
afraid of
like if I'm
somebody's.
on social media, it's the same thing.
No, I'm no. What I'm saying is, if I'm
Almost.
afraid that somebody could knock on my door, right? One, I shouldn't be getting into arguments with people on the internet.
And then why are you opening your
I
door?
get what you're saying. In other words,
Why open your
avoid
door?
I get what you're
conflict so
saying,
that
though.
you don't feel
I'm not. You
threatened.
know what I'm saying? I'm not. So that's the reason why I don't understand it.
But why open the door? Why open your door? Why not just keep? Why you have to open your door?
Oh, what's that motherfucker? What? All right, so
Huh?
And that's one thing I don't understand. Don't pull up on somebody house
I
because
will have
you
my
could
own
do.
self accountability on that because I could say, listen, if something happens to me, then that is on me. Because I'm
Yeah,
getting the information that I'm getting the information. I have the information, and I still choose to do what I want to do with this information. It's like an alcoholic who knows the consequences of drinking and driving, right? It's the same thing. You put
So,
yourself in
in other
harm.
words, I just want to be clear. So, in other words, if
Leave me the fuck
you
alone.
out at a club, if somebody out at the club, y'all people out at the club together, and that person has decided, I'm going out. Because girl codes. We leave together, and I understand
Not
we
that way.
grown.
Not that way. Good morning, Kay. I'm not that way. Leave me. And listen, if I tell you I'm out of here and I'm leaving with this dude that I don't,
Right, you're leaving with Joe. You're leaving with Joe,
I'm leaving with fucking Joe. I'm a
and
grown ass
I'll call you tomorrow so I can get the details so I can laugh.
He's so stupid. Believe
So,
me, I probably would tell my mom, listen, I'm over here. You know what I mean?
so
But
if I can point something out really quick.
good morning, Kay.
One thing is about this on social media here, first off and foremost. We have several tools that can be used and utilized to eliminate the situation where you have to worry about that ever happening, right? If someone starts to get rude or belligerent, you can drop them or block them. That kind of stuff right there. And I understand Adrian
If
has.
it's my room,
Well,
right? And I don't block them or drop them, you have a responsibility to leave if you feel like your life is being threatened.
okay, but hold on. And now let me ask you a question. How many times have we had in real life where a bar has been sued and has lost the lawsuit and had to pay out because a drunk driver unallowed the whole family because they were being served at that bar? You technically on this app are the establishment. In here, this is your room, right? That's your name. This is your room. So technically you are the same as the establishment. So if someone gets threatened in here, right? And that something like that would ever happen, God forbid we don't want it to happen. But you have to think about it a little bit differently in liability thought processes.
If you
Well,
exit,
would there still be a TikTok room though?
especially
Because
if
wouldn't
you
TikTok
open
be
You're
arms.
wrong. She ain't
this is a
responsible for
TikTok room?
shit. Them
She
people
just
sign terms and conditions. They responsible for their damn self over 18. She ain't responsible for that. She
What do you
won't even
mean?
get a liability or accessory. That's what I said. She
Well,
ain't
right.
responsible. Read your
my
terms
point
and
there,
conditions. The only, excuse me, the
This is
only
a TikTok
person that will
room.
be the only person that will be responsible is that person that got threatened and the person that did the threatening. But as far as the host, they have nothing to do with that.
Mm-mm.
TikTok
no,
records these
but
lives. They can pull the live themselves. They don't even need the host.
Oh
if
no,
you were
so
in the situation,
I
if
could
you chose to get rid of the situation completely,
Mm-mm.
and you chose
Nope.
to eliminate them and say,
Mm-mm.
bye, you don't need to be that way in my room, that would
Mm-mm.
eliminate the problem
I
completely,
could
right?
very much see I
But
could
I
very
hear
much
it's
see there
funny
being
because
the
if you was in
potential
the
for
street,
somebody
a
getting
lot of people
sued.
wouldn't do anything.
And Charles, my room is a misrepresentation. It's not even supposed to call your room. That's just a habitual name that went around TikTok. This is not your
But
room.
here's the thing, right? So I work in corporate
It's my
America,
house, damn
okay,
it, poetic.
and I deal in business all day long. And here's the deal: it doesn't matter if someone trips or falls on the sidewalk outside one of my buildings, one of my stores. Okay, technically, if there was anything and at all that the concrete wasn't right or anything like anything, I can technically still be sued in liability.
You're
Even though the
absolutely
Yeah.
right.
sidewalk technically is
Yeah.
the
TikTok.
Yeah.
city's
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
property.
But
Hold on.
Charles,
TikTok
that's
not
all your
being
easement.
responsible.
Property.
Charles, that's
I
easement
still
stuff,
get
Charles.
sued, and I'm
That's
still the one
foundation
that
easement,
got $1
Charles.
million in their medical bills.
Charles, TikTok, you have no
So
foundation
just
in here.
saying.
You don't. TikTok tells you don't own
Charles,
nothing.
this
TikTok.
is
They're suing
not corporate
TikTok.
America.
No, but
If
he's
that
right.
was,
He's
No, he's
right.
wrong. No.
He's right.
Excuse me, he's absolutely
Mm.
wrong, Empress. Let me tell you why. Because number one, you can't sue the host. The host can't control what comes out of nobody's mouth at all.
No, but
The
she
host
can.
can the
So
host cannot,
tell
excuse me, let me finish. The host cannot control what you say, me, and nobody else on the panel. TikTok cannot hold the host liable for any guest on their panel, and when they do, they make you drop them or they take your page.
so
That's the
no,
extent they go.
I
But
hear what
in
you're
a
saying.
lawsuit, you cannot sue them because you entered the app, you signed the terms and conditions on your own. You didn't come into the room and sign terms and conditions of the room. You signed
Right.
terms and conditions of TikTok, not the room. So the room cannot be responsible for any lawsuits. Now that's it. I mean, you
So
got to
in
read the
the
terms
so
and
in the
conditions. And I'm a TikTok manager, and I'm trying to
And,
explain it to you the right way
and here's the other side of the
because
coin.
they tell
How
us
you how
this.
you how,
And
how
I
you
don't know
gonna
where you
recognize the
get that
host?
misconception,
okay,
but
but what I'm trying
that
to
doesn't happen.
but with the example I was trying to make though, is in that same situation, just like you
I
just
don't even
said.
know how we got here, Case. I have no idea.
The
Me
host
either,
can
but
lose their
don't
page.
spread misinformation across TikTok, and then you
I'm
got
not
people
spreading
listening. It's
misinformation. I'm
people
trying to get
outside
to
the
a
room
point.
also.
So there is still a liability where the fact is, if
No.
they continue in the room, the TikTok could take her page. That's the same thing as if I
No,
have
Yeah.
no
no, hey
one in my
Charles,
house.
let me ask you this. Hey
It's not
Charles,
life.
how you know that's Adrian? Hey Charles, how you
That's
know that's Adrian
breaking
hosting live? Hey Charles,
TikTok
how you know it's Adrian
community
hosting live?
guidelines, not breaking the
My job.
laws. It's breaking TikTok community guidelines. You don't break laws when they
Oh,
take your
okay, but
page. It's
that,
TikTok
they
community
get me on the
guidelines,
sidewalk and
So,
that
say
terms and
that I don't break
agreement
my
that
law
you
either.
signed. I'm trying to get you to
but
understand it's
so
still
we're
referring
not
to the terms
saying
and
we're not
agreement
saying
that you signed.
Then
I'm
why are
not
they able
saying
to take the host page
that
if that happens?
so I'm not saying that
I'm
that
just wondering.
TikTok would sue, for example, Adrian or a host of a room. What I'm saying is if something goes down in the real world that popped off because of something that popped off in her in a room, that host could theoretically find themselves on the other end of a lawsuit, right? They
We,
could
we,
be
we all can be on lawsuits, but it doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. First of all, here's where your fallacy is. You willingly come into these people's these participants live, not room. This is a person live. This is a live, not in their live. You willingly are here. You willingly can take yourself out. You
right.
willingly stay and accept all
But
the
At
things
any
that just in this
time.
room.
you know what?
Right.
You know what? Other shows have found themselves like, and I'm talking big shows like the Jerry Springer Show and
Right.
all of
But
that.
that's a whole different aspect than this
They
TikTok.
obtain
No,
liability. They obtain
TikTok.
liability. We ain't got no
no.
liability on here.
That's why
TikTok attains the
that's why you
liability,
waive
not the host.
liability. That's
No.
Right.
why they have you
TikTok
waive
got the
liability.
liability, not the host.
No,
Empress,
the
don't
host.
say that.
Empress,
Okay,
you're
well,
alive. You're just
whatever,
alive.
Empress,
You're
you're
just a
wrong.
participant.
Okay, just don't
You're just
say
part of the
that because
circus.
that's wrong.
You don't got no ownership in TikTok. You ain't got not one stock, one share.
No, but the
You ain't got a
liability
pawn in
with TikTok
TikTok.
is you can lose your page. Is what my point was. You can
Yeah,
lose
but
your page.
that's through TikTok though.
That's what I'm
That's through
saying.
TikTok.
Exactly.
TikTok
That's
ain't got nothing to do with the legal
the
system,
thing.
and you
That
ain't
was
got nothing
what my
to.
point
You
was.
lose
That's
your
the
page to
same
TikTok.
idea.
You gonna go to the Supreme Court and say TikTok took my page? Are you kidding me?
Well, it
Honestly,
is what it is. I'm just saying
I
that's what my
It's
understand that.
point
people on
is.
here. Let me let you know this. There's people on here with lawsuits right now that still got their
Right.
page. What the hell are you talking about a page, Charles? Let that go.
What I'm
It's
saying
people on here right
does
now in
not.
the middle of damn lawsuits and still got their page. It's
The
people on
lawsuit.
here that went and tried. Hold on. It's people
You
that went and tried
misunderstand
to
what I'm
apply
saying
law.
completely,
Let
but
me
that's okay.
finish this. Let me finish. So I'll give you a prime example. So you say that the host can be held responsible. Hell no, because somebody went and sued somebody else that was on somebody's panel, but they not involved. And
Again, the
that's inaction
lawsuit
right
was.
now. So I'm trying to tell Empress that's wrong
Okay,
because that
but
doesn't happen. You're
you're
not in no
you're
danger of being
misunderstanding.
sued because they're gonna throw that shit right back in your face and tell you you don't have a case.
So
Because
you're
TikTok gonna throw them
misunderstanding.
terms and conditions on the board, and the lawyer gonna say, nope, you don't have a case, and I'm not taking it.
Yeah,
Period.
Again,
she's
you're
definitely, she
misunderstanding
can't
what
be
I'm
held
trying to
Got
accountable
say.
billions
for
of
what
dollars
other
and me who ain't
adults
got a dollar in
do.
a fucking account. I mean, let's be clear. Like, what the
Okay,
fuck you suing me for? What? What the fuck I got? But I got
Yeah,
but TikTok got fucking
she
money.
can't be held accountable for what other adults do.
Hold on.
Nothing.
She
So
can only be held accountable for what she does. Like if she defames somebody's character, somebody can sue her. And that happens a lot on
My
social media.
my
If
dollar
she
50 in my
but
fucking account.
but you're misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. Okay,
We gotta
I'm
beat
using the
everybody to the
liability
yeah.
situation in the situation of between TikTok and them taking your page is the same idea as what would happen out in the real world with me
No,
when
it's a
I have
whole
a
difference.
store that someone gets hurt at a store.
Because
I'm
again,
just
you guys
saying
are all
that
talking
in
about
this
how you would step
situation you're
up
in
on the app,
here,
but you wouldn't do it in real life either, because your life might be threatened. So still goes back into the same thing of the fight and flight stuff, right? If
No,
you have a
the reason
person,
why we
if you,
got here is because you asked me a question in reference to is that why I tried to diffuse the situation yesterday, and
right.
I was like, yes,
I
because I
don't know how the
don't
hell we got.
like,
Everything always gets
yeah, because I
sidetracked.
don't like the confrontation. I hate the confrontation when it comes to online
It
beefing and
shouldn't
stuff
be.
like that because it can be escalated to something more serious.
And so, in my opinion, right? I felt like yesterday, and going back to yesterday, I felt like, and I know that Charles was here, but I felt like nothing Charles was going to say was going to be right anyway, right? The ladies were talking, whether it was aggressively or silently, like you, or calmly, like you were, Tanya. I still think, and when cool, I don't think that still was received because we're a woman. Do you believe that if a man had came up, somebody that was an elder, respectable, would have said the same thing that we were trying to say, that it would have been received differently?
Absolutely not.
You don't think
No,
so? So you think if Uncle Bernie came up here and said the same thing that we were saying, that it would have, I mean,
Nope, because
not
the
the,
day
not the whole
before
world.
Orlando, nope, because the day before Orlando sit there and stayed on mute all the time that Uncle Bernie was talking, didn't respond, didn't make a comment
Right,
or nothing. Didn't say yes, no, maybe. And he
right,
said, while Uncle Bernie was talking, I stayed on mute. So
right.
what he would do is just stay on mute. Now, whether
Mhm.
he would take in what he's saying, hell no. He
But it
gonna go
still
back to
stopped
doing
it.
what he was doing
Right,
well,
and make excuses.
Orlando proved to be the type of person that was a sexist. So anything that a woman said
right,
offended him.
right,
It offended him, and and
No,
he
the day before, Tanya, he said he wanted to be in control. He's a
right.
he
control
did.
freak.
He
So he
did
wants
because
to control women.
he does. He does. He said that yesterday
So,
as
so,
well.
and so Uncle Bernie didn't believe that anything that he went in, the conversation, the argument, the threatening, the fighting, it would have still gone on. But I'm like, I don't think it would have, because I do remember Mama Money, because even when I was telling Poetic about how he was behaving before he got there, he was like, no, not him, he wouldn't do that. I'm like, yo, he called Mama Money a man. He's like, no, he didn't. I'm like, yes, he did. But as soon as Poetic came into the room or came into the box,
He
he
called
was
Harmony a
silent. He was
man.
quiet. And I know
He
you
called
didn't see
Harmony a
that the
man
day
and Mommy
before,
Money.
Tanya. You didn't see that the day before, but that's what ended up happening. So I was trying to feel like, if Poetic would have came in the box, that the conversation would have shut it down, and we would have moved on from what we were trying to do.
Even if it shut the conversation down, then it wasn't gonna change him. He gonna come back and do that shit
Well, I mean, I
again the
don't think
next
anything
time.
you can't change.
So
Again, we go
it
back to the same
still
thing. We
wouldn't.
can't change the person.
Yep, and that's why I say defeat
I
the
just wanted
purpose.
to.
They don't
I
need
just
even
wanted it to
talking to
stop.
him.
And obviously, again, I'm a fight person, so I was my attitude was only aggravating it even more, right? So me being argumentative wasn't going to make it better. I wasn't going to tell him something that was going to he was going, okay, I'm going to listen to you, Adrian. You know what I'm saying? And even when Tanya or Cool was sitting there and their calm voices was trying to be, and talking in that manner, that still, it didn't even matter, when it was about facts, whatever. But it was still aggressive coming from the men. And like I said, Charles wasn't going to happen, because no matter, Charles would have said the sky was blue, it was going to be an argument. He's like, "What you know about the sky being blue?" So I just feel like I feel like that if I think that if a man that they respected came up in the room, it wouldn't have gone too fucking far. But anyway, that was my 2 cents.
Well, you know how you stop them conversations? Stop talking. Because they can't argue by themselves. So that's how I stop it. I stop talking. Even if I'm going to leave them in the box, I just stop talking. And they'll eventually run out and just go quiet. And then you
Sometimes
can
they'll
move on.
eventually. I mean, you stop
I
giving
could have just
opinion.
stopped it by just kicking them out the room and blocking them. I mean, at the end of the day, I could
Yeah,
just
you
do
could, but see, when
Hey,
you
right.
go back and forth with them,
Right.
that's what they want.
Right. So I could
That
stop.
makes
I
that
could definitely
Peter
take
Whacker
myself.
hard.
they get all excited and they get worse.
Right,
So
because I don't know
when
if
you
you
don't
heard
say
me earlier
nothing to
say this.
them, they feel like an idiot talking about themselves.
Right, because when I got off the live, I had the dude that was getting at cool. He had a picture of his penis in my inbox. So with all that going on and all that fighting and all that arguing and all that disrespect, he really still thought that he had a chance with me because his penis pic was in my inbox.
You talking about
Seriously?
Orlando?
Yeah.
Say pickle.
You
Stop
talking
saying
Oh,
about
that.
Orlando?
pickle.
You talking about Orlando did that?
Not Orlando. Who's
Oh,
Orlando? I don't know. I don't even know their fucking names. If I
no,
see them,
I
Not
think
Orlando, the other one. Not Orlando, the
oh, the
other
one
one,
that was
because I
going
ain't
off
know that other one. He
yesterday.
was new.
yeah,
Yeah.
the one that was
Oh,
going off on cool for no fucking reason.
oh, okay. Well, you know that's well. He kept throwing that out there. The length of it. He kept
Yeah,
saying his size and saying what he would do with it. Like while y'all were fussing, he was
right.
saying, "I'll choke you with it. I'll choke you with this 9.5. I'll do this." He was saying all of that while y'all were fussing. He was
What?
really saying what he was gonna do with his stuff. Yeah.
Right.
How the fuck did I miss that?
Yep.
He
I
was
don't know. He
yeah,
kept. I promise. He kept saying that. He was like, "I'll
Stupid
choke
shit.
y'all with this 9.5." He was saying all that. Y'all just want this meat. Y'all just want this meat. I'll choke y'all. I was just like, "Oh wow, okay."
I don't know, Crystal. Were you here the night before when that Orlando Diddy was in here the day before?
Yeah, I was in here when
Okay, so
Orlando
you
was in
remember there
here.
was
I
a young
missed
man that
this.
came up and and his daughter was in the camera.
What? So then I
That
missed
it
that
was
part.
him. It was him. I guess which even got me even more pissed off
I
because
missed it too because I thought he was new yesterday. I ain't even
oh no
remember
no he
him.
was
Well,
there. That's when he showed his face. I said, wait a minute. I said you was the dude that had your little girl in the camera, and you were taking her to the park. And he seemed like some great dad, and honestly
He's
that's
probably a wonderful dad.
with a mouth like that.
Girl, we got some mothers with worse mouths, and they some great
Does
mothers.
he
Girl,
want
I
to treat
had
your
a
mother?
wonderful dad too, but he didn't need no woman. He was a terrible ass man.
You sitting there talking about you gonna take your 9-inch penis and
He
choke a
did.
woman with that. You
He
think that
was
and you
saying
want
it.
you
He was saying
you didn't say that to her mother? Do people who are like that don't have filters no matter where they
Adrian,
are?
all men don't
and
treat
you
their
know what? He
kids like
didn't
they
send me
treat
that,
their
but he
women.
did send me a message.
Hold
But
on.
it was a
It's
respectful
how
message.
the kids
Men,
hear. The kids hear shit.
Adrian, men do not treat their kids like they treat their
Right.
woman.
Exactly.
Listen
Not at
to me.
all.
Cause my ex-husband treat his kids like gold. He ain't
I
never treat
understand.
me like that. And my daddy did the same thing with me. And then him and my mama used to fight and he would hit on her. So I know men don't treat their kids. He would never hit me. He didn't even whoop me.
Right. But
So that's what I'm saying. They
And he
don't
went
treat
to
their
my
kids the
DM,
same.
Adrian, but he went to my DM with respect. He ain't send me no picture.
of course, because now he thinks he can manipulate you, Tanya.
Yeah, he could never. What do you
I know, but in his
mean?
mind he
Yeah,
can. Just like he
he
thought
could
in my
never
mind
do
because he
that.
thinks I'm a 304, he could manipulate me with his penis.
He showed. Yeah, he was
Right.
like, "Hey, I just wanted to say this, that, and the third." And he said, "I hope you understand. I didn't start that mess." He said, "I
Of
didn't even go
course.
in
You
there
know,
on that." And I was just like, "I understand."
No, but he threatened. They threatened him, and that's all there is to it. At the end of the day, the threatening and everything else. That was him. He didn't have it.
They
He
go
can
did
say
it.
I didn't start it all day
But
long, but you
he
chose to
felt
take it
he was
there.
obviously
So
listening in the
he
background, waiting
we
for
can
me.
see who you are.
and that's the thing about it on either end. I don't agree with the whole threatening thing. I just don't agree with that at all. And when he said he was from Pine Bluff, if y'all know anything about Pine Bluff, they not to be played with.
I know, but
Absolutely not. I think as
somebody
small as
from, let me ask
Arkansas
you
is
something,
with
so
the
somebody from
splits.
Pine Bluff could have come all the way to where I'm at, invest that
What do
much
you
time and
mean?
energy.
What do you mean? Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Have you ever heard
When
that in
people
Pine
say
Bluff,
it's
the
on site,
term?
they mean
I'm on the
that. They
radio.
absolutely mean that. Like I told you, the girl caught a
I know. Okay,
flight
they mean it.
with a female and
So
knew where her location was. The girl was in a grocery store when that woman found her.
somebody from that town.
Listen, they do not play. They don't. We're not
I
number five.
understand.
Listen, it ain't hard to find
It's
nobody.
not
You
hard
can
to
take a
find
I just
photo.
know I
You
ain't
can
nobody
no.
put their
I
photo.
don't believe that
Excuse
somebody
me.
from a
You
small
can
town
put
will
a
never give up
person
a homeboy
photo in
because
the
she's gonna
app.
take a
in
flight to
Google or
somewhere
any
that
other
can't
app, and you'll
afford
find their
public
You
name,
can
their
transit.
put.
real
You
name,
can
their
put
address, everything.
their right, and then you can also track their location because most people have their damn location
Yep.
on their phone.
And that's how that girl found her. She was at the grocery store when she found, and she was on live. And she ran behind the security
I
guard. She said, "I'm not
understand.
gonna fight that big girl."
Mm, I understand.
Well,
All
it
right.
don't
And
matter to me. I
what
stay
I've
strapped
been
everywhere I
through, where
go.
all of
If
my
I go
children
to the
been hacked,
hospital, I'm
and
strapped.
yeah, so y'all just take it very serious. These hackers and these people that do have that technology, yeah, they can do a hell of a lot with your name. They can find your IP address, and that gives them all the information that they need.
I
Just be
understand how
very,
why you
very
So
feel that
when
way.
they when both of them started being disrespectful, the first thing that I did was block their accounts from my account. So
No, because you again
so that I don't have
take
to deal
yourself
with them.
accountability for yourself. You don't can control what you can do, right?
Well, yeah, and that's
Right.
but I'm not going to associate with men that are like that. So I immediately
And
just
that's
block
great.
them completely,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's one thing that will eliminate that situation in that particular situation. But I'm just saying that when we're talking about is at the end of the day, some people are a lot more warrior like on here than they would be in real life,
Mm-hmm.
and
very true.
that happens a lot.
But some people are so mentally unstable. Like they really are. They listen. Just understand that the whole social media beef thing is absolutely real and it's absolutely dangerous. I don't get into it with people for what? What's the purpose of me getting into it with you? I don't even know you. At the end of the day, once I get off this live, baby, you still gonna be a non-factor to me.
Nicolene, you still there? Nicolene?
So I'm here. I was getting ready to leave.
I
I'm in
got. And I
Atlanta,
saw
so
you outside, ain't you?
yeah, I went
I
to see
saw
Chris
all your
Brown last night.
videos.
Yeah,
I love it. Did you have a good time?
I had a fabulous
I can
time.
tell you had a fabulous time.
I
I love to see
did.
you outside and enjoying the amazing world that we have out here. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. I was like, look at Nicholas being outside. Where are you walking?
Yes,
What you
girl.
walking?
Yeah, I'm walking right now to the car so I can put everything in. I gotta drive home. This has been a great weekend. No
I
regrets.
love that.
Just
I love
lovely.
that. I had a good weekend. Honestly, I mean, you was partying the whole entire weekend. In my mind, I was gonna party the whole weekend, and I did one night, and that was a wrap for me. I was like, I can't do this. My body is not bodying like that anymore. One night of hanging out was just enough for me.
Yeah,
I
I gotta take a
understand.
nap before I go out because if I don't, I'm gonna be asleep wherever I'm at.
It's freaking been raining here all weekend, so I don't get the I
That's
got
not a. That's no bueno.
I hate when it rains like this.
Well, it's actually been raining here the last 2 days too. It didn't make me feel so bad. It didn't make me feel so bad that it was raining. So no, it didn't make me feel so bad that I didn't go out. Because I be in my mind like, Adrian, just go out. Just get yourself dressed. Just go outside. Just get yourself dressed. Just get out the fucking house. Then, in my mind, I'd be like, but then when it rains, I'm like, oh, I guess I can't go because it rains. Like I used to use the rain as an excuse. Oh, you know, 'cause it's the
Automatically
rain.
have the excuse, huh?
That's too
Yeah,
Oh no,
cute.
I'm not
Using the
going
rain
out in
as
the
an
rain.
excuse.
yeah. Well, see, look, see,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
said,
mean,
right? Went on the rain, right? Yeah, I used to rain. So it'll be the
I'm not.
rainstorm,
My
not
hair
because
is
I was sick
natural, so
for it.
I can't go out in no rain, honey. By the time I make it to my car, it's gonna be an afro.
I mean, but we know there's always ways to fix that. So it
No,
is.
because if you didn't wrap it up, it's still gonna be poofy by the time I make it to the
Yeah, put
location
in a
I get
ponytail.
there.
Put in a ponytail. Put a wrap. Put a wiggle. Put a hat on. There's 1,000 different things you could have done.
You trying to no. It just means I need to sit my butt at home. I don't even like to drive in the rain.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I don't like
I
to drive in the rain. I don't like to drive in the dark. I don't like to do any of that stuff.
And it's not too many spots that's for adults. I don't want to be hanging with the kids.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure where you are too. Like
yeah,
I
it's not
you?
too.
I like a good day party. I like a day party. That's what I've been into now. Then
I
when
was
they
about to
start,
say, where you at? Where you can't enjoy yourself? Cause baby, whoo.
I enjoy myself. I'm not even I don't want to go out that much. I really don't. I'm a homebody person. And but I'm in Arkansas, so it's not too many like you saying day
Oh
parties and all that.
yeah,
You're in
you
Florida,
said
so I'm in the country.
you said a whole lot when you said Arkansas, baby.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
anybody that knows this itty bitty city is number 5 when it comes to crime rate. So it's not too many places that you can really go to and just be civilized and safe. So I want to
I
be where
feel
the
you.
adults are.
good
I'm
morning,
one
Mom.
person who doesn't like to go out to
That's
to establishments, but if I go out, I like to go out to places and go hunting or fishing
I
or
like to be
hiking
with some
or
adults.
stuff like that.
I
Like
love the
I
fact
go
that I'm
out and
in
I want to go out.
Atlanta. But I would travel. I would go down to Miami. I would go to town. I don't care. Like I travel. I travel by myself because I don't need a crowd. Because I don't need to hear. Oh, I can't make it. This and that. I don't care. Like
Right.
I'm outside, and when I say I'm outside, I don't care if I'm by myself outside. I'll
That's
make friends
usually
when I
how I
get
go
there.
by myself too.
Yep.
I don't mind.
Me and my kids, or me by myself. Yeah.
Well, see, when I had my son, we would go out to the movie. There's always something to do for me and him, because I'm gonna always make sure we have something to do. I don't play with that.
Oh,
I didn't play about things to do. He even was in the truck with me for a long
that's
time,
loud.
and I was with him in the truck with me, and he would go places.
We can't hear you.
Your
Sorry.
car is really loud. You might want
Yeah,
to take it to a mechanic.
I just started the engine. My engine is very good.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's because I was near the motor. I had to get it together. I had to put it. But I made sure my son and I were always good. He had his first plane ride, first boat ride. My son, I was trying to give him the world. He didn't have no experience. Some of these people have children and they just be at home like dishwashers and just clean up my house kind of thing. I ain't got time for that. I never wanted my child to be raised like that.
Well, I
Ain't
raised
nothing next.
my
Mm-hmm.
kids. They do dishes and things like that. But again, they also are outside when I'm working on the car or whatever like that, because I want them to all be able to learn all of all sides of things. But now my kids
Of
are
course.
older, and now they've learned those lessons. So now I don't have to have the you know what I'm saying. Now it's
Right.
just a simple thing of, I go to work and run and things like that, and that they have a job, and then we work together, right? So we all kind of just pitch in. One will wash, one will dry, one will put away, one will, kind of thing like that. So it's really, if they learn the lessons are learned. So we don't have to have well, you got to do the dishes to learn how to do dishes type thing. They know how to do that stuff. So,
Well,
but
I kept my kids in activities. My children
oh
had
yeah,
two and
me
three
too.
activities. And one of them was taekwondo, which taught them discipline. Um,
I learned that a lot when I was a kid.
I really do believe the activities will help them when it comes to, and they couldn't quit whatever activity that they picked. I let them choose which activity they wanted to be in, and they couldn't quit. If I'm paying for this and I didn't sign up for you, you're gonna stay in it for the whole year. And I think that teaches them when it comes to my children have been at their jobs for 7 years plus.
Mm-hmm.
They
Well,
don't.
Yeah, I
kids
always
need
tell
to
my kids
finish
that
what
too.
they started, right?
Yeah, you
That's
gotta finish what you started. Exactly. They were not allowed to quit. My kids, and mind you, my oldest was horrible. My oldest was horrible in sports. I put him in every single sport possible, just hoping and praying that one of these sports would be a sport that he was good at. But I still would not let. Honestly, he never wanted to quit. He loved being in there, even though he was horrible at it. My youngest one was the quitter, even though he was good at it. But my whole thing is that you, even with the Boy Scouts, because or the Boy Scouts or being in the Young Marine program or the 4-H club, it was always like, and even if I didn't have to pay for it, it was like you finish what you started.
Right.
Yep.
There's
Right.
definitely
Well,
no
I've always
quitting.
sat down with my kids and I'm talking about what their true interests are, right? So, like, my daughter's interests are definitely not anything about sports related, but she loves art and she loves drama and she loves music and things of that nature, right? So, those things are the passions that you have, then that's fine. But that's what we're going to put you in for extracurricular activities. Are going to be stuff like that where they have the show every year, however that the drama stuff they show. Talking about the what am I saying? The word the stage show thing. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so her things are drama and music and stuff like that. Now, like my son, his passion was not sports; it was auto mechanics, right? Or mechanics in general, or things he can do with his hands, right? So woodworking and shop and automotive and things of that nature, all that kind of stuff. That's what I put him in, and those kinds of things. So I even put him in a little bit of music, just because he wanted to try it. So okay, give it a shot. But he stayed in it the whole year and finished out the year. And he said it really wasn't my thing, so next year I don't really want to do it. All right, sounds good, But as long as you finish that year, that's good. But, I always try to find out what is your passion and then find out what extracurricular activities you can add from there.
Right.
If I can say this though, just so don't parents don't Taekwondo doesn't teach doesn't give us necessarily discipline, but it gives you opportunities to know when to engage when using defense. And what I mean by that is that your parents gave you discipline, but the Taekwondo is a place where you can repetitiously utilize what your parents gave you in the art of defense to engage to defend yourself. So you think about when you're doing defense, you pretty much become the aggressor as opposed to the person who's trying to assault you.
Well,
Because you
I
defend
will
to the
say
person you defend until the person is stopped. So you ain't defending them just to ward them off. You defending it to make them stop. So that means you're gonna punish them till they can no longer they very much enabled or disabled. They're gonna run off.
so. I'm going
No,
to
the
disagree
Taekwondo
with you on
actually
that
did
when I
teach
say,
them
and
discipline. It
because
did.
Please do.
Because see,
Please do.
when you go to
Please do.
Taekwondo, you have to understand that number one, they don't when you come into the the one here, they taught my
I don't know.
children. They taught my children yes ma'am, no sir, yes sir. You have to say that, okay?
No, they
And
teach
taught them.
yes and no, not yes or no. They teach yes and no. There's no yes,
Well,
no, sir,
I'm
no, but
telling you what,
they use yes and
my
no.
children, I
But
was
then
there
when
every
they do it
day,
inappropriate.
and my children was
It's
like,
yes and
yeah.
no because you know why? Because
Either
they don't want you to
way,
get
I'm
gender.
talking about what happened with
I'm
mine.
okay.
And so my
yeah,
children also had to behave at school
Yeah,
because
that community they
they're
don't use sir, they use yes and no because they don't want you to get confused
Sir, you're
with the.
talking over her. Y'all can't talk at the same time. Are we singing the same
Thank you, man.
song? Jesus
Thank you for the
Christ.
guidance. Thank you for the guidance, ma'am. I apologize to you and to her. Thank you.
Because you're
so
not understanding, poetic. Your
I'm
experience
not,
is not her experience.
I'm not
it's
understanding.
very
I know
different.
that's right.
My
Yeah,
children,
it
when they
ain't
were
no. It's not a
going,
different experience. It's what the parents
right.
have interpreted. The
Taekwondo. Did
interpretation.
you go to Taekwondo school in Arkansas? So
It doesn't matter.
it does
It's the
matter.
school.
It does matter.
The art itself is the art itself. Taekwondo is a
Okay,
specific
then
art. But
maybe it
let me say
wasn't
this.
the real art of Taekwondo from wherever
No,
Taekwondo
but
comes
no.
from.
I look
Maybe it
here.
was
I'm not
that
look here.
their version
Hey,
of
look. If
Taekwondo.
moms and dads think that
Jesus
they taught them
Christ.
yes sir and no sir in Taekwondo, then my
Okay.
golly, let them believe
No.
it.
They already knew that. But I'm just saying to you,
Again,
while
putting
they
so
were
much
there,
weight on
this
what
is
people
what my
gotta
children
say. Just let us say what
experienced,
she wanted to say. Sorry, Tanya.
and
Just let
and
us say what she
my
wanted to say, whether you agree with it or not. Hey,
and
I thought I
and
was quiet.
anytime they
Okay,
had
okay.
any type of way at school, they would go up to the school. They would show up to the school. They'd be like, "Mom, you don't have to worry about this. We got this, okay?" My children did learn how to. Well, my children are not fighters anyway, so you can't use the art of Taekwondo in a fight, especially not at school. But it definitely taught them. It taught them a great deal. My children are black belts, and actually, they wanted for my son to be an instructor. It's just that he went to college, so he couldn't. But nevertheless, it did teach them. It absolutely did teach them discipline. So, and they
if
learned a lot.
so, if I can add to what you're saying there, I was trained all the way up just under a black belt. I haven't finished my
Yeah,
final
but let's
four
stop the
black
lie.
belts.
You
But
can use
hold
this
on,
Taekwondo anytime, no matter what
hold
belt you
on,
are. It doesn't matter.
hold
Okay,
on. I was
yeah,
already talking, poetic.
y'all got that.
Let me
Oh,
finish what
excuse
I
me,
was
Charles.
saying.
Well, pardon me, Charles. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to
No
march
worries.
over you,
Thank
please,
you. I
sir.
appreciate
Let me
it.
stand
Now,
back here. I
so
just got
what I
excited because the information seemed to be a little obscured, but
well,
you know.
okay,
Poetic, not
understand.
everybody
Hold
have
on,
glitch
but
through
understand
like
this.
you through your eyes.
So
Babe, hey, nobody's
as someone
licensed in
who
that art, so that is some nonsense. You can
It
use it
does
any way you
okay.
want to.
Maybe that's the made up shit
Okay.
they did on their fucking town. You don't fucking know shit. That's his
they,
experience. It's his
so
experience.
Okay,
so
I
where
would let
I
them do what
was,
they do. My apologies. It holds my
hey,
apologies to you for being so rude and so interpretations to just jump in here, but I wanted to. I'm going to go to mute.
The thing is
so when
to push your the way that you see things, whether it's fact or not. If any of these people, if anybody on the panel or whatever
Yes.
said the fucking sky was fucking orange, yeah, you're right. The sky is fucking orange. Should it fucking
I'm gonna see
matter?
it with yes. I'm gonna see the orange sky too because I think there's some
All
orange up
right, so
there.
then the
I'm with
same thing
them.
with
Yes.
Taekwondo. They're saying Taekwondo is their Taekwondo, then it's their fucking Taekwondo. Who the fuck cares?
And they are
so
licensed, very
I,
licensed, and they
I
won
was
all over the world. And you can actually
No,
get
it's
Hey,
not a
your
Agent,
license. They you get a
can I speak
certificate.
after
You're not
Charles?
licensed.
Can I
There's
certificate,
not a
speak after
license in
license,
that.
Charles?
whatever,
There's
sweetheart.
no
okay.
license
Can I
in
go
this.
ahead
There's
and
no
finish what I
license.
was saying, or
Hey,
do
Uncle
you keep
Bernie,
going?
I thought
Maybe
you
he
said
wants
you
to
was
be
gonna go
right.
on
Maybe
mute.
maybe poetic is a Taekwondo fucking instructor or
You
something.
you you
So
you took
okay,
Taekwondo,
so
poetic. That's why you're so passionate about it.
hold on.
He
Can
was
I
the
get what I was
inventor
trying to
of it,
say out
Tanya. He
first
was the
here, folks?
inventor.
Jesus Christ! All right.
Yeah,
Now
Adrian, can
Go
I
ahead,
speak after
Charles.
what
Charles,
Everybody
I
else,
was
please?
saying,
please, Charles. Please and thank you.
what I was trying to say is this: is the instructor that I learned under was an 83-year-old Korean man from Korea who was trained in the art from the beginning of life to his whole life is everything about that. And when in our school, they also used yes sir, no sir. Okay, it was actually yes sensei and no sensei, but it is what it is. But it was still the purpose, and discipline was very important for me because I was very unruly as a
Hey,
child.
Charles, right there, Charles. Stop right there, Charles. Why did you hold Charles? Charles,
Burn it.
Charles, real quick, Charles, Charles, real quick, Charles. Charles, one question, Charles. Charles, one question. Don't get too far. But Charles, why do you say yes? No, Charles. Hold up. No. No, Charles, real quick, a quick question because I want you to part of the stream, Charles. Charles, why they hold up? Charles, why they teach you yes sensei, no sensei? Why?
Because I had to make sure
the fight you want to fight.
No, Charles, tell me why they teach you yes sensei, no sensei?
Why did you fight yesterday when I was talking about training a woman? Why did you fight then?
Oh, because that wasn't my argument. That was my deal. I'm not into that.
Taekwondo is? That's crazy. Okay.
No.
Well, I don't want to hear no more because QJ's and QJ knows about
I've
the shit.
I've had coffee.
I don't give a fuck about the shit, but so I don't know why you do so much. You act like
but Adrian, you moved too far. Adrian, slow down, Adrian. Hey, Charles, why they teach you no sensei, yes sensei? You know that. What's the answer?
Let me finish everything I wanted to say.
Why? No.
Hold on. Let me finish what I was going to say, and then you can address it after that, okay? Now, what I was saying is, as a child who was very unruly, when
Charles, why no sensei, yes sensei?
Before you continue.
Charles, why no sensei, yes
You are
sensei?
not going to let me finish, that I'm never going to be able to explain my point.
I'm done with that
Thank
shit.
you.
Honestly, for real.
Listen.
It's all about picking and choosing people's fucking battles.
So what I was trying to say is this: I was a very unruly child, and I did not have discipline and structure the way I needed to have discipline and structure. So with the Taekwondo, it helped me a lot with gaining discipline and structure because of the repetitiveness of the training that it taught me how to do that. Now, it also taught me how to manage myself in a situation, in a stressful situations and things of that nature. Instead of just wanting to always fight and always wanting to just attack, I was taught that I can actually walk away. I was taught that I can do a lot of those things. So self-control was also a big part of that stuff that I learned in Taekwondo. And that's what she's trying to explain, is all of those things, those disciplines that we learned, that's what it was. Now, why did we use sensei versus, in that situation in my school, not her school, in my school? Notice how I'm going to say that because I'm not going to go and say what her school was about. In my school, they used sensei because, again, it was showing respect. Just
and they
like
use yes sir
and
and no
ma'am,
sir
or yes sir
here.
and no sir was respect.
Right. And yes sir
Right?
and no sir is a sign of respect.
But
And we're in the South.
but
That's
if I
what we
was
say is
talking
yes
to,
sir.
but if I was talking to my mom and I was in that school and my sensei heard me say anything other than ma'am to my mother, he would have a field day with me about it.
Exactly.
So again, their discipline is very structured, and the way that everything operates in Taekwondo is structured, and it is a defensive art. It is not an offensive art. So yes, but the art of Taekwondo was physical, but a lot of it taught you how to learn how to walk away, or assess and things. There's the discipline was exactly what they did for me.
Exactly. And see, I was a single mother, so I needed for my son
So
to
was
be
my
around
mom.
be around men, and not in a negative atmosphere, because when I first got my first home, it was in the hood. And I didn't want for my kids. I said my kids was gonna be too busy to be bad. And so I kept them busy, and Taekwondo was one of the things I put them in. And I don't regret it.
All right, so Adrian, I'm just gonna slide in. I'm gonna slide back down. My son's 17. I put him in Taekwondo at 6. I don't know what Uncle Bernie talking about. Have no idea. As far as that, there's no discipline. That is totally incorrect. So, Miss Lady said, she said they say yes sir and no sir. Charles said they say no sensei. Well, my dojo master is a master, so all the kids respond with yes master so and so. I ain't saying his name. No master so and so. That is how when you walk in the dojo, you gotta take off your shoes
Yep.
and introduce yourself to the master every day.
You
And
do.
bow.
Every day.
And bow, you
And
do.
then and then and then and then like my son enjoyed contact. So when we go to tournaments, because we would go to Alabama, we would go to South Carolina, we would go to North Carolina, we would go to Florida. We would do tournaments. And my son, like me growing up, he was bigger. The master would not let you into his dojo without giving you a test first. Like just because you came to his dojo and you said, I want my child to learn Taekwondo, he would give him a assessment for a week.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
if they didn't pay the assessment, and he told all us parents, I don't just promote your child to a different belt just because they've been with me a couple of years. Because a lot of schools do that. A lot of dojos, just because the child been there 8 months, they get a new belt. No,
You got to take a
they got
test.
to
You had to
they
test
got to
out
take a
also.
Hmm.
test. They got to learn about the history of Taekwondo,
Hmm.
and then they got to
And the
spar.
language.
That's how they get their new belt.
That's
So
exactly how they get the new
it
belt.
everything with Uncle Bernie talking about, I don't know nothing about that. My daughter started at 6'2", and she 9 now. She turned 10 next month. Well, this month because it's September. Like nothing what he's talking about means anything to me. I don't like to argue with people that I know have no idea what they talking about because it's just futile. It's a waste of
And not
damn
only
time.
that, they big on their education as well. If their grades are not up to par, oh, they're gonna get in they tell about that as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you and so like my son been a master's assistant for like the last 4.5 summers, cause he in the summertime he be the assistant that help train the youngsters,
The new ones.
and
Yep.
they be doing camping stuff too. So like whatever Uncle Bernie talking about, that's not. I mean, I guess every situation is different, but we researched our different dojos before we signed him up. And when the master told me he can't come into my school until I get an assessment, that's what I need to hear. Because that meant something to me. That means he
Mhm.
don't just take his tutelage lightly. He wants to see if your child even has the fortitude to move forward in what he or she desires.
Uh,
And if they don't, he'll say, I'm gonna suggest you send them to somewhere else, or you bring them back for retesting in a couple of months, and he will give the parents uh several steps to help build their confidence because it's part of the rules that you gotta go in, you gotta go into the tournaments, you gotta get in first or second place. If you don't, especially once you get over green belt, when you get into blue, brown, and everything else, um, if you haven't won a tournament, if you haven't gotten first place in one tournament, he don't just promote you. Like, and that's what a lot of masters do because
well,
the parents paying money, and they feel like they gonna keep the parents happy, even though if the kid ain't learning all the techniques and everything that's fundamental to their growth.
so my testing was done specifically by belt. It had nothing to do with tournaments. So my promotion had nothing to do with tournaments. My promotion was specifically training in the dojo and what as you elevate and you test out of every belt. Right now, the competitions and those things that used to be add-ons or extras. Right, if we went to a tournament, that was a different story. Right, that was something separate. That was part of the school, but it was separate from our education, right? So um, our training was, it wasn't part of how we We belt
Can
it
I
up.
stop
That
you,
makes
Charles, for a
sense.
second? I'm sorry.
Hey Charles, maybe you
Can I make hold on,
misunderstood, or
TJ?
maybe
Hold on. TJ,
I
can I
didn't
say something?
clarify it correctly.
Can I
But
understand something? I want to have an understanding of something because I have no idea what the hell any of y'all talking about, right? But I know you guys. I see that though again with the word, right? The word discipline, right? And I don't know about dojos or any. I don't know anything about that, right? In my version of discipline is you need to do it a certain way or something's going to happen. Like there's a consequence for your action. Is that what discipline means in
So,
what you're talking about?
so you learn discipline in the factor of repetitiveness, right? So, and you learn
No,
how
I
to
understand, I
accomplish
understand
those things.
repetitive, but if I don't do that repetitive step, right? So if I
Yeah,
don't, right, what's the consequence?
then you're not there anymore. They'll kick you out of the school.
yeah, pretty
Oh.
much.
You
You
don't
have to
get
go
So
find
you
you
participants.
say
another
it
That's
teaches
dojo.
where
you
you lose.
You don't
discipline.
Your
move
the
up to your
consequence
next
happens.
Hold on
belt
a
or
second.
anything.
I'm trying to get clarification, and I'm sorry I'm yelling, but I'm frustrated. So it's because I want to get class of understanding of what you guys are talking about. Okay, so when you say that the dojo, whatever it's called, teaches discipline, it's teaching the children that if they don't do this step the way that it's supposed to be, they're gonna get kicked out.
Well, that's the
No,
extreme
it's
final
life
end. But
skills. It's a everyday life learning process. It's not a one. It's not focused on one entity or
Right, well, you
one
keep on saying
desire
that it
as
was
far as
discipline. It teaches you discipline. What do you mean it teaches it does it teach
so
you about
if
consequences?
if I was not
like I said
accomplishing
from the get
something,
go, when you walk in the door, you first learn a level of respect. You walk in the door, you gotta take off your shoe,
Right, but we're
and
talking
you
about
greet the
discipline.
master.
and then you bow all of a sudden.
I'm giving you, I'm explaining it to you, but you
No, because
um
I don't understand the steps of it. I just want to know what discipline. Because again, me discipline is if you come home with a bad grade, you're gonna get spanked. To me, that's discipline,
Okay,
right?
and
So that's
let's
what I'm
say
trying to
so. Your
understand was how does
consequences.
so you
dojo
want
teach
a
you discipline?
stranger to spank your child?
I don't
So
know. That's
okay,
why I'm
so hold on,
asking you. What?
hold on.
How do they teach
I
you
think that she's all
discipline?
right. I got you. I got you. Hold on. I got it.
You say
So
discipline.
the way that
What's the
hold on.
definition of
Let me
discipline, right?
explain it.
You're
So the
training
way
That's
that
somebody
what I'm
to
asking.
obey.
Thank you,
well,
China. That's
we
exactly what
can't
I'm
all
asking.
talk at the same time. What I was trying to say is
Well, I was talking for
understand the
her.
discipline is this, right? So if I don't do the right if I don't do the right kata, and if I don't do it right, then I'm going to have to do push-ups. All right. So that's a consequence, right? It's not going to be a physical consequence of spanking, but I'm going to have to do more work, right? Or I'm going to have to do whatever. If you continue to refuse to do things, then eventually you'll get kicked out of there. But the discipline is the fact of the repetitiveness, and you're having to do those things. If you don't do it right, then you have to do other things, like you have to do push-ups, or you have to do certain things like that. All those things are consequences for your actions, right? So the discipline is still there. It's just a different type of discipline because they're not going to spank your child, right?
Yeah, but there's a consequence.
They do
But
here.
but
Okay.
If you sign and agree to it, they do.
Y'all would never move to
ours
Arkansas.
was never ours. They never allowed that.
They're gonna be
But
using. They're gonna be beating your kids for everything. They beat your kids in the school. They beat your kids in the dojo.
Also, the dojo master might putting you on the heavy bag for a day.
yep.
Also, the dojo master might make you go
It's like
outside and do laps.
football when you got to run laps and stuff
Yeah,
like that. It is definitely
like
discipline.
everything has consequences, but it's different type of consequences. You know what I'm saying? Like when you fall out of place, the corrective discipline is you have a consequence. Whether that's hitting the heavy bag, that's working on the I don't want to say they call mannequins because that's not the name of them, but it's practice dummies.
Poetic, have you
You know
taken
what I'm
your
saying?
medicine today?
He's hung
Take
up
your
Huh?
on the
medicine.
word. He's hung up on the word.
He's definitely hung up on it, but to discipline
Everybody,
somebody,
that's how you should win.
are you not training them? You're training somebody when you discipline them, right? You're training them.
Hey, Adrian, I'm
So
gone
you get
because I
trained.
see what Uncle Bernie doing, and I ain't got no part of that
But he didn't have
bullshit.
that shit for yesterday's word. That's the crazy part about it. He didn't have that energy for yesterday's word when because what's the difference between that and training, right? You could say that you
Mhm.
train people at a dojo or train people in
They
football,
do, and
right?
they're definitely training them in Taekwondo. They definitely are
Right,
training them.
exactly. But the
They're
word is
training
different in
them,
that situation,
and
right?
providing structure and also
Right,
discipline.
right. But would
So
that be
yeah,
different
regardless
than
of what he
when
say.
training a woman to be a wife?
But
People
nevertheless,
have different
anyway,
concepts. I mean, and again, depending on where you live in the country, I always say all the time, people have their different ways of seeing it. I don't know, like I say, he got energy for something that's so fucking stupid, and like he fucking 65 years old. What the fuck you know about fucking? They probably didn't even invent it back then. I'm pretty sure they didn't have dojo schools back then.
shut up.
But I'm
Well,
serious though, like the
well,
amount of energy that
Taekwondo's
people
been
feel
around
that has
for
to be right is crazy to me.
well, Taekwondo is a defensive art that's been around for over
I don't
almost
know the
2,000
difference. I
years.
don't
But
even
yeah,
care for the
yeah.
fucking difference. I don't, you know what I mean? Like it's not that
But
serious to me. Oh my
it's
goodness.
not as serious as Bernie made it. And I've never seen him act that way
But
ever.
but but yesterday he had no fucking energy. He wanted to mind his
He
own
said
fucking
he's
business.
not a savior. That's what he said. He said he's not a savior. So yesterday he wasn't nobody's savior.
Right, but today he wants to say Taekwondo land. I guess I don't know. And I listen. Let me tell you, God is good because my phone is not charging, and God knows that I am not in the right place to be here today. So when I'm choking over here. What I'm thankful for was what I'm gonna end my live with. My phone's about to die only on 3%. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna say this before I fucking leave, even if you guys don't able to. Say what you gotta say. Yesterday, it never happened to me before. And I think I'm about to cry. Yeah. I don't really think about my dad passing. I don't think about it a lot, really, because to me, I see death differently. I feel like that's it's still with me. But yesterday, I'm listening to my music and I'm listening to my playlist, and a song came on that I remember my dad used to always sing to my mom. And it came on, and because in the conversation about how I was so upset about how these men treat women, and I keep on saying I never seen my dad treat my mom that way or behave in this manner. The song came on the radio yesterday, and it just reminded me of my dad so much and how loving and gentle and how sweet he was, and not needing to be right wasn't a priority in his life. Just loving on his wife and his family was a priority. So that's what I'm thankful for yesterday. I believe in signs and energy, just like how my phone is not charging. I believe that's a sign as well that I don't need to be on this fucking app right now. So before I go, if you guys could say it really quickly, because honestly, it's like 3% is fucking blinking at me. Tanya, tell me something that you're thankful for.
I'm thankful for my children. Because when I'm not my best, they can always bring me up.
I love that. Crystal, so tell me something that you're thankful for. Crystal, you there? Are you busy? Nicolan, Empress, I know Mama Money. Anybody that you can
I'm thankful for time well spent. This
I
time
love
you
you.
don't get it back.
That's right. You sure don't. Thank you, Nicolette. Empress, my money, Charles, and Chris. Anybody jump in? No, you don't have to wait, Charles, because they do 30 different times, 30 different things.
I will. Okay, today I will go ahead and jump in and say I am thankful for one. I'm thankful for the rain. We have needed rain for a long time, so it's been beautiful, even though it sucks on being able to go out anywhere. But I'm thankful for the rain, and I am thankful for being able to spend time with my kids yesterday and have a good time with it. So we had a lot of fun yesterday doing that.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Are you still paying attention to me? Anybody here?
So I'm thankful for these diabolical ass rooms on TikTok that keep me occupied to let me know my life ain't so damn bad. Amen.
Thank you, Empress. Crystal, you there? I guess I left you guys, or you guys left me.
Some of us are still here.
Again,
I'm
I
thankful for you.
everybody be fucking multitasking at the same time. It's a conversation that it keeps us busy. It keeps us going through the fucking day.
Bernie said he want to come up and give
Are you
what he's
okay
thankful
though?
for.
No,
No.
no, not you, Charles. What you said, Charles? Because I was talking to Tanya.
Are you okay? I know you're emotional because of your dad, but are you okay?
I'm also probably because I'm about to get my period too. Don't let this shit fool you. Honestly, I'll bet you in a couple of days to tell you
Well,
about. People at my job would tell you must be getting a period, because honestly, it usually comes in this whole it's usually right before I get my period.
well, I can understand where you're coming from yesterday on what you're talking about, because I can definitely see that. Because
How long has he been gone?
10 years.
Oh,
Long
okay.
time. Like I don't even be thinking about him. But but it's like, but when I see these men and it's like it's the constant. They're so angry, and then they constantly want us to be like our mothers, but yet they're not acting like our dads.
Very true.
But again, I
Hell,
really
I
don't.
don't even don't act like my daddy, cause I ain't gonna take your ass.
Don't act like mine either. He a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his head was his home, honey. That man got 22 kids. I don't even know but
That's
four.
how I learned how to pick these
Ooh,
raggedy ass
ooh,
men, cause I
no.
know what my daddy did. I watched that shit all my life.
Right.
Exactly.
It's the
Yeah.
emotions for me that they have. They're so fucking emotional. Our parents did what they did, but it was never. They just did what they did. It wasn't like a whine about it. Anyway,
Well, fuck it. Don't cry about it. Be glad you ain't got to
No,
deal with
she's
that
not
shit
crying
every day,
about
all
them.
day,
She's
No, she's
grieving.
24
crying because
hours
she
a
misses her
day,
dad.
because they will drive you
Right.
crazy,
Well,
child. That's
she's
why I
she's
be glad of
grieving.
my
So
peace.
grief
I
comes
don't
in
know if
different
it's grieving.
waves, and
It's not
she
grieving.
just thought
It's
about
definitely
her
not.
dad. So
It's not grieving. It's definitely not
it's not
grieving.
grieving. Oh, okay.
Nah, she was thinking about the raggedy ass men and how they not like that
Right.
anymore,
Well,
and they not
don't
loving and
especially
caring and stuff. They
right.
raggedy as hell anyway.
Right, but don't let them. Please don't let them bother you, honey. They
No, and I was talking about this before about me being an empath. Empath. I receive people's energy, right? So it's like I feel sorry. I feel sorry
right.
for them. I literally, and that's the thing. That's the reason why I keep on trying, even as a lost cause. I really feel bad for these men who are just hurt and so angry and so sad. And like I feel that, and I really do feel that for them. And I keep on trying to make it like I don't know an example. I don't know, and I need to stop. I really do, but.
Yeah, honey, because
I know, like
honey,
I said,
Girl,
as
you
hard
can't
as fuck as
fix
I
that
am, I'm fucking
bullshit.
still be party
and they don't
inside.
want to be saved. Don't save them.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. All right, I'm gonna
You
be
damn sure can't fix it. I don't feel sorry for them. Some
I
of them
know.
deserve that shit.
No, and you
Waddle
have
in
to
the shit.
understand if you didn't break them, why are you trying to fix them?
I don't know.
Because a
Again,
lot of
again,
people
it's
are
like
so used
I
to
feel sorry for
taking.
a bird or on the ground. Or a
I
bug.
understand. I get that, but a lot of people that are broken will take the broken pieces of their lives and stab you with it.
I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But I rule by a different philosophy, right? So I understand, and which was another part of my what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for my time with God every day because I know that one thing that is constant and consistent every day and is never going to fucking fail me. And I said fucking with God at the same time, and I do apologize for it. Is having my relationship with God, and I'm thankful for that every day because every day when nobody understands me, I know that He does. So I am leaving with that. I love you guys. You guys have a great day on purpose. I appreciate you guys all the time, even though I am a little bit kooky and arrogant and irritated and yet loud and disrespectful and all that
Can
other
I
shit.
say one more thing before you go? We're thankful for you also.
Oh, thank you, Charles. I appreciate that.
We
I
are.
need to hear
You
that.
you give us the space to be able to enjoy life, and your spirit and your energy feeds into us also every day.
I get it. And I
Well,
wanted to
I'm
say one.
glad Edwin ain't here. He might spoil
Oh, you can say,
the
you know, he
mood.
was. Yeah, I was ready to come in the box either because I didn't have the energy for his ass either. But one thing, but it is what I was saying, and I was trying to say what kind of with the God thing situation. All I keep on imagining is how God must feel about us. He'd be like, "I be trying with these people; they don't want to listen." I
He
feel
be
like
feeling like I be feeling with these kids. I'm tired as hell.
Let me tell you now, sometimes I be believing maybe I miss my calling as a psychiatrist because Lord knows I meet the craziest of motherfuckers. But sometimes you just gonna have to throw in that towel of trying to help somebody else heal,
and
especially when you're
I
not
know please
willing
that's the
to.
human in us, right? But the guy, thank God
Right.
that God does
No,
not throw
ma'am.
power.
No, ma'am.
He could
No,
have thrown
ma'am.
the
That's why I'm gonna
Messiah.
send them to you and Adrian, cause I'm not fucking with him. I ain't got time to help you heal or none of that
No,
shit.
don't
If
send
you
them to
ain't
me,
did
honey.
it, oh well.
No, baby, I am burnt out. Don't send them to me, girl. Fuck that. I'm gonna live for me.
Well, I'm burnt
I
out and
know
I
you
know
are.
my, let me tell you something.
Yeah,
I learned my boundaries, and what I'm not finna do is get
yeah,
emotional over another motherfucker.
yeah.
I don't
Definitely
care no
not.
more. And
Definitely
I
not,
ain't
honey.
even worried
That's where
about your
I'm at.
problems. If you got problems, I'm finna cut your ass off and let you deal with them. Cause I don't want to
Exactly.
help you.
Exactly, because I swear to you, I was like, nope, I'm burnt out, y'all. I'm about to live for tea. And yeah, y'all may not like it either. And I don't care. I can care less, but no, baby. Take your broken ass on.
Girl, I
They
love me
love
too
to try to
much and I
call
want too
women
much shit. I
damaged
can't be
goods, but
dealing with
baby,
them.
I didn't hear what you said, Mama Money. What did you say?
I said I love me too much.
I love
I
right.
that.
want what I want, honey,
And
and
you
I ain't finna
should.
settle.
Exactly.
I
All right.
was feeding the dog. What happened?
I'm about
Why
to
is
read
Adrian
it.
crying?
You too late, and I'm at 1%. You should have been paying attention. I love you guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. And I would. What's tomorrow? Oh, I go back to work. Maybe I just need to go back to work. I've been home for too much, too long.
Tomorrow Tuesday, child. I'm
Yeah,
gonna help you doing
I'm in the office.
homework
No,
like
no,
a
I'm not in the office tomorrow. Shit. I mean, see, I'm excited, but I'm not excited. Maybe I need to go outside and be around people. Maybe that made me feel better, re-energize me
You need
again.
to go to the beach. That's where you need to go. That's where you love the beach.
Not today. It's raining. It's raining, Charles.
Oh,
I need to go to
well,
bed.
take an
Over this
umbrella.
period. I need this period over and done with so that I could come and leave and I could get back to the schedule of not giving a fuck about anything. I love you guys. I'm at
Have a good
1%. You guys
day.
have a great rest of your day, and
Take
I'll
care.
see you tomorrow morning.
All right,
Have a
bye.
good one.
have a great day.